violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car. I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
We're getting our first look at the man accused of killing his own grandmother, leading to a 7-hour standoff with police. Joe Hankey just got his hands on the warrants. And Joe, you found out what this man reportedly confessed to police after they arrested him.
Did I hear that right? Did she just say he killed his own grandmother?
We're getting our first look at the man accused of killing his own grandmother, leading to a 7-hour standoff with police. Joe Hankey just got his hands on the warrants. And Joe, you found out what this man reportedly confessed to police after they arrested him.
That's right, Savannah. And a 96-year-old woman is dead tonight in this case. Her 31-year-old grandson, as you mentioned, is in the Fulton County Jail. The arrest warrants describe.
Yo. This is different. You know, we seen super gremlins killing their mamas. We seen glider gremlins killing their mamas, right? More super gremlins killing their mamas than glider gremlins, but everybody's killing their mama. But grandma, she's 96 years old. And you know, grandma at 96, you know, she got a little mouth on her. She's saying whatever she want to say, and she's not understanding that this ain't the 50s, grandma. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Jeremy Ingram as suddenly shooting her in front of other family members and then allegedly sleeping through much of that standoff with police.
Oh, Lord Jesus, help us. Pray nobody else gets shot. If somebody did get shot, Lord, help us.
All neighbors could do in the South Fulton neighborhood is watch through their windows and hope for the best outcome, as South Fulton police and a SWAT team stood with guns drawn during a 7-hour standoff outside this home.
It was a very uncomfortable experience, but clearly whatever it is that we're going through is, I don't know what happened, but clearly it's a lot worse. There's windows shot out, the garage is gone, the front yard is destroyed. Like, Jesus Christ.
South Fulton police.
And shout out to this brother, man. He described it to a T. He gave authentic and raw perspective. So shout out to that brother there.
Police till 11 alive. The standoff along Gramercy Drive came to an end with officers arresting 31-year-old Jeremy Ingram with, quote, only minor injuries. Details of how exactly they got him out of the home.
Hold on. So these super gremlins will kill their grandmother. Sent grandma to go see the ancestors. Right? The ancestors. But he won't go out in a blaze of glory with the police? The racist KKK police? You won't go? What?
Home have not been released.
Could have been gunshots. It could have been them banging on the door. The officers were very patient, asking for someone to come outside, and
wow. Look at this brother lying on these officers, saying that they were patient and they weren't using excessive force in this case. I tried to compliment him, but he's wrong. Like, these cops, they had to go in guns a-blazing, right? Or this is what we're fed in the media.
Released.
Could have been gunshots. It could have been them banging on the door. The officers were very patient, asking for someone to come outside, and they have been doing that for hours.
The arrest warrants released to 11 alive this afternoon. State relatives witnessed Ingram walk up to and shoot Sarah Barnett, his 96-year-old grandmother, as she sat in a recliner. That was around 6:45 Wednesday night. Police were called, leading to the standoff. The warrants mentioned once arrested, Ingram waived his rights to an attorney and admitted to having a gun, standing in front of his grandmother, and shooting her once.
Damn. So, I mean, he told on himself. Can we give him credit for that?
He is quoted as then going to his bedroom, falling asleep in the closet, and sleeping through the standoff, only to be woken up by officers pulling him out of the closet to arrest him.
Does your home smell like you're sitting in a giant litter box?
And South Fulton police have not commented on or confirmed any possible motive for the shooting. Ingram is expected to make his first court appearance tomorrow morning at 11:30. Jennifer.
Right now at 5 a.m., a woman is dead and the man in custody after an overnight SWAT standoff in
I ain't gonna lie, the one on the right got a rack.
South Fulton.
We want to get you straight out to CBS 46's Tori Cooper, who just arrived there on scene. Tori, what can you tell us? What's going on there?
Good morning, Alan. Police just confirmed with me that the woman was shot to death by her very own family member here inside one of the homes just beyond this caution tape here along Gramercy Drive. But I do want everyone to come look at this video right now, Alan, to show you what this really looked like when we first pulled up here. It was very much an active investigation. You can see that there was a number of police out here and even...
Y'all, this is a PSA. A public service announcement. If these super gremlins will do this to their own grandmothers, what do you think they'll do to yours? What do you think they'll do to yours? Oh, well, I guess we know. We saw it in New Orleans with Linda Fricky. So they'll do this to their own grandmothers. What will they do to yours? I'm telling you, these super grandma killing gremlins are on demon time.
The paramedics were out here. Now, police tell us that initially they got a call about a person shot out here. And when they arrived, they found a man inside the home was refusing to come out. They say that's when he started barricading himself inside, and the SWAT teams were called out here. They say they tried to negotiate with the man, tried to get him to come out peacefully and surrender. And when they were unsuccessful after 7 hours, Alan, that's when the SWAT teams rushed in and they arrested the suspect and discovered the woman's body inside the home. Now, they did confirm with us again that she was shot to death. Back live now, they have not confirmed the family relationship between the victim and the suspect, and they have not released the names of either one.
Breaking news from overnight. A SWAT team responded to a South Fulton neighborhood after the call of a deadly shooting. Channel 2's Darren Moore is live for us in the 5600 block of Gramercy Drive. Good morning, Darren. I know that is still an active scene behind you. What can you tell us this morning?
Well, we can tell you that police are still here, Laura. You can see the blue lights up the street. It's actually that house that you see that's kind of like on a hill. But this is a murder investigation involving family members.
This morning, a woman is dead and a man is in jail after a 7-hour standoff with South Fulton police. This is on Gramercy Drive, not far from South Fulton Parkway. When police got the call, the man refused to let them inside the house. Officers called in the SWAT team, who tried to get him to give up. After several hours of talking and with no success, SWAT stormed the house, found the woman dead, and arrested the man.
And police said that woman was shot. The man did suffer some injuries when the SWAT team actually took him down. But Lori, if we learn of any new information, you'll hear about it during a newscast.
All right, Darren, we appreciate that reporting.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
New details tonight about a shooting in South Fulton where a man is accused of killing his own grandmother. Warrants released late this afternoon described his surprising comments to police about what he allegedly did next. Here's Joe Hinkie with those details for us this evening. Joe?
Jennifer, in the arrest warrants charging 31-year-old Jeremy Ingram with murder, police wrote he shot his grandmother, then went to his room and slept, only to be woken up by officers arresting him.
The man, the super gremlin shot his own grandmother. 96 years old, about to reach a century old, and he ends her life abruptly. And then he goes and has a good night's sleep. How many times do I have to tell you these super gremlins have no empathy, no remorse? Okay? There's no type of conscience that is, oh man, you shot your grandmother, you know, you should feel really bad about yourself and you should feel like a POS. And no. He said, huh? Let me go take a nap. Let me go back to sleep. I wonder what those dreams are like.
Neighbors sent a cell phone video seen here showing South Fulton police outside the home with guns drawn as the standoff began. That was shortly after 6:45 Wednesday night on Gramercy Drive in the city of South Fulton. The standoff continued for 7 hours. Ingram's arrest warrants describe him as walking up to his grandmother, 96-year-old Sarah Barnett, then in front of other relatives, shooting her as she sat in a recliner. In the warrants, police wrote Ingram waived his right to an attorney and admitted to the shooting, saying he then went to a closet in his bedroom and fell asleep. Neighbors tell us they were scared for their own safety during the standoff.
It was a very uncomfortable experience, but clearly whatever it is that we're going through is, I don't know what happened, but clearly it's a lot worse. There's windows shot out, the garage is gone, the front yard is destroyed.
South Fulton police have not said how exactly they went into the home and arrested Ingram, but said he only had minor injuries when he was arrested. He's expected to make his first appearance in court tomorrow morning. Jennifer.
Joe, 96-year-old grandmother is shot and killed while visiting family in South Fulton. The woman's grandson is now behind bars, taken into custody following a police standoff. The shooting happened at a residence on Gramercy Drive Wednesday night. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us live in South Fulton with more on the shooting that, Deidre, has left this community shaken.
This is a no-nonsense message from 3. 3 is insurance for small business.
It certainly has. Police say 96-year-old Sarah Bennett was visiting the home when she was shot and killed. Certainly has. Police say 96-year-old Sarah Bennett was visiting the home when she was shot and killed, allegedly by her grandson. Right now, investigators cannot say what sparked that deadly violence.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
A neighbor recorded the chaotic scene unfolding just yards from her South Fulton residence.
Oh, Lord Jesus, help us.
South Fulton police officers responded to...
Guys, Fulton County is hot. Cobb County is hot. DeKalb County is hot. Make sure you're very careful. This, unavoidable. What was she going to do? Nothing. Nothing. You're not even assuming your grandson. Your grandson. The son of your daughter or son is going to shoot you dead in your own home.
Reports of a person shot at the residence on the 5600 block of Gramercy Drive just before 10:30 Wednesday night.
An officer with a big rifle in his hands comes running over and knocks on the door, and he's telling us that we need to go to the basement because they have a situation.
Neighbors were told to evacuate their homes or take shelter in the basement, anywhere where it was safe, where they remained for several hours as police tried to negotiate a peaceful resolution.
Very patient with this guy, very methodical the way they moved around in this house, clearing this house, which led to a peaceful ending on his behalf.
The SWAT team.
Wow. So the man murders his grandma in cold blood. And don't y'all be coming in my comments talking about, you don't know what she said to him. Sometimes, words can sting more than physical. Come on. This is what these folks be trying to do in the comment section. There's no justifying this. The fact that the police were able to take him in without incident is a miracle. These guys are heroes, and they need to get recognition for it, because these super grandma killing gremlins are on demon time.
Team was called in after the suspect, identified as 31-year-old Jeremy Ingram, refused police commands to surrender or talk to them. After negotiation efforts failed, SWAT officers entered the residence and arrested Ingram some 7 hours into the standoff. Police say Ingram shot and killed his grandmother, 96-year-old Sarah Bennett. They don't have a possible motive.
I don't know what the real conversation actually took place in that house, but something triggered him to go to as far as he did and carry out these actions to actually kill that grandmother.
Investigators tell Fox 5 the suspect recently moved into the South Fulton residence. Neighbors shaken by the tragedy say such violence is uncommon here.
His windows shot out, the garage is gone, the front yard is destroyed.
And the suspect now charged with murder and possession of a firearm. Reporting in.
What degree of murder are you gonna get for killing your own grandma? Interesting to see.
South Fulton, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. All right, guys. So we're live on a Sunday. It's time to get it. It's time to get after it. All right. I appreciate you guys coming in, joining in. We're actually going to have a pretty good panel today. We're going to go over this Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting panel that went on this week, and we're going to see if they come up with some solutions, and we're going to see if maybe we can take some of the solutions that they have brought up, or maybe the gaslighting, who knows, but let's see if they come up with solutions. So we're going to do a breakdown of this video as much as I can get through. It's an hour and 22 minutes long. Excuse me. But we're going to get through it. So guys, make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share. This is going to be a good one. Trying to go live more. All right. You know, trying to do the whole YouTube thug dizzle. So guys, if you are watching me on my other YouTube channels, i.e. Quarantino to God, Reclaim Your Throne, or the Twitch, make sure you come over to the main YouTube, which is Black Gen Z Mindset. This is the one where I have the most subscribers on. And if you guys are watching from Black Gen Z, you can go check out my other channels as well. But I want to get straight into this. Okay. If you guys feel so inclined, there goes the Cash App. There goes the PayPal. And you know you can always hit that super trap. All right. So without further ado, we are going to get into the video.
Oh, say less.
All right. So here it is. Here is the panel. It is called Shift the Narrative, Media Panel on Community-Centered Gun Violence Reporting. All right. So we're going to go get into it. So let's get it.
Everyone, I hope you can all hear me. We're so excited to have you. Thank you for joining. We know that there are many things that you could be doing today, so thank you for joining this panel. I'm Terrence Pitts. I'm the director and producer of Heaven Can You Hear Me, a 25-minute documentary that looks at the impact of gun violence on families in Philadelphia, particularly the impact on mothers and women. Before we jump into the discussion, just a few quick housekeeping notes. The event is being recorded. I'm going to ask all panelists to if you could keep yourselves muted if you're not speaking. And for folks out there who are joining us, you can live tweet the conversation this afternoon. The hashtag is.
All right, let's get on with it.
You hear me? And Dr. Dorothy Johnson Spite, who's here with us today. Reuben Jones, who's with Frontline Dads, a Philly-based advocacy organization, and Colin Williams, who's with Cure Violence, based in Philly. With that said, I'm going to tee up, and we're gonna watch a clip from the film. It's 3 minutes.
So he's queuing this film up. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Might be good, guys. So.
Deadly shootings in Philadelphia could be linked. 18-year-old and a 21-year-old are dead as 17-year-old was gunman shot.
Okay, the audio was fucked up, so we're not going to waste our time with the film. All right, here we go.
Dr. Johnson Spite, do you think that this film helps to shift the narrative about gun violence? And if so, how? And you're on mute. If you can unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, sister. Come on.
Thank you.
2022.
First of all, Terrence, I want to thank you for the amazing work you have put into Heaven Can You Hear Me? Yes, I do think that this can begin advancing the solution-driven goals that we want to see from.
All right, so first off, I got to stop her there. I know they're not trying to imply that this film, this 3-minute film, or the ad for the film or whatever, is going to stop gun violence. That's what they're saying. And over here, we don't call it gun violence. We call it super gremlins on demon time. All right. But we'll concede their terminology when speaking in the context of what they're saying. Okay. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Y'all think y'all gonna put out a movie? Niggas already got power. Niggas already got what is that shit called? The snow shit. Not snow in the bluff, even though you can say that one too. Right? We already got these TV shows that is showing the murder. Okay. Like, that's what we watching for entertainment. Niggas coming out with the BMF movie. All right. And I'm not saying all these forms of entertainment are bad, but to try and say that, oh, this is gonna change the community by showing this film, straight bullshit. Snowfall. That's a shout out to JP. Appreciate it. Yeah, Snowfall.
The media. But it's an educational piece for any and everybody who watches it. I think oftentimes.
And if you guys haven't watched Snowfall, it's a really good show. It's allegedly loosely based off of Freeway Rick Ross. But there was a scene in the show where Franklin's little assistant, I forgot the little dude's name. But anyways, the little nigga pulled up and they ran up on they ops and they shot the car up, and the daughter ended up getting shot. One of the daughters ended up getting shot, like the daughter of like the gang nigga or whatever. But he killed a little girl. And I remember people were reacting to it on Twitter when it came out, and like they were like, "Oh my God, when that little girl was killed, it shook me." And da da da. And then I'm like, bro, that shit happened in real life all the fucking time. It happens in real life all the time. So we have the films. We got that. All right. We got Boys in the Hood. There's not enough films that you can make to show us that, hey, this is an issue.
Folks don't often understand the impact of violence on a family. And this documentary clearly explains and lays it out to see how the impact of violence is affecting families.
Shout out to JP. He also says, also watch Top Boys, shows UK crime. Yeah. And when you watch Top Boys, who are the top boys, bruv? Who are the top boys, bruv? Who are the ones moving the peas, bruv? You know what I mean? These super gremlins are on demon time.
But also ways that people can get involved to make a difference. And that's what this meeting is about today. You know, especially the media, what part do they play and how can they help to be solution driven?
Okay, so listen, now they're going after the media. What part does the media play? How can they help to be solution driven? The media is just giving out the information. The media is just giving out the information. Like these local news stories where I get these stories from, they really never give opinion. They're just like, really sad. Okay, now up next we have the weather and like, dude, they're so just state out what happened, state the facts. Sometimes they get things wrong, okay? Sometimes they get things wrong, but they're never throwing in their opinion. That's why, you know, people are fuck with my channel because I'm actually giving my opinion on these local stories. And the media, they're just getting the message out there. Okay?
Around prevention. Thank you again for an amazing documentary. Heaven, Can You Hear Me? Yes.
Thank you for welcoming me into Mothers in Charge to help tell this story.
And let me keep, you know, I'm not trying to take anything away from the brother Terrence with his film, Heaven, Can You Hear Me? But any nigga could do that shit. Like literally, I did a whole show on the people who, you know, I personally know who are affected by these super gremlins on demon time. Like I could go and film their family doing interviews and pull up to the scene of the crime and get pictures from the scene of the crime. You know, it's not like that is going to directly make a difference. And the people who are going to be interested in this film are not going to be the people who are doing these things.
Which is really important.
Absolutely.
So what are the stories, before we move into the formal panel discussion, can you just share a bit more? What are the stories that you think Philadelphians, and for that matter, folks in any city should be hearing about gun violence or should be telling about gun violence and gun violence prevention?
I think it's important that those that have been impacted by violence tell their story. You know, oftentimes we see it on the news or a clip, but to have the actual people who've been impacted to be able to share and educate those folks who may not truly get it. So I think it's important that we get that information out there as an education.
And guys, they already do that. They already do that. You don't think these people on the news stations are up here giving it to hell? We went to Gunu 64, and we saw how his mama and sister and them, they was on the news doing interviews, even had the nerve to bring that man's dead body to the club, to the strip club, to a shitty club at that. They had the nerve to bring this man's body to a shitty club and him turn up and get twerked from strippers posthumously. So it ain't like the family ain't involved. And a lot of times you can be like, oh, I see, you know, I'm not saying niggas deserve some certain shit, but you can see by the family, oh, I see why that, you know, most likely happened to him, because the way his mama is acting a fool and the way that she talking and all, you know what I mean? So you can see certain signs with these people. The families are speaking up, but you know, the news can only do so much. They're giving them time to vent and speak on, you know, matter of fact, let me just give you guys an example. Let me just show you guys, because people are going to be like, no, they don't be giving the family no time to talk about it. And bro, every story that we do, the family is in the damn news interview.
Scream or yell, and I didn't.
Hold on. Let's run it back.
Investigation is underway after a man was shot during a carjacking in Northeast Philadelphia. It happened just after 6 o'clock this morning, and several suspects were seen running from the scene. Action News reporter Becca Hendrickson joining us live now from Northeast Philadelphia. Becca, you've just learned more about the victim and everyone who knew him in tears this morning.
They are, Alicia. I've been speaking with the family of 27-year-old Raheem Bell this morning. They say he is a pillar of the community, and everyone in this neighborhood who knows him will agree. He does so much for the kids around here. And this morning, he is in surgery after he was shot in the stomach when 4 suspects stole his car.
And this happens all the time. In Philadelphia, these little niggas are jacking any and everybody. If they catch you lacking, best believe they coming for your whippity whip whip. You know what I mean? We are bound by whips and chains. Except the whips are getting stolen from us. This, you know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy out here. These little niggas is running up like what it do. And they're not scared to bust a gun at you. They ain't scared to kill you, take your life. In Philly, these niggas is savage. And what are they doing in Philly? Catch and release. City council passed a law. You can't even pull these super gremlins over. So when these dudes jack cars, they know it's sweet because they know, oh shit. So when we jack a car, we ain't gonna get pulled over. Because they have to have all these different factors lined up for them to even pull us over. You can thank the brother city councilman for that. So they passed a law to where they can't really pull you over for shit. Okay. So hope is lost in Philly at this point. All hope is lost.
I was sitting up this morning and I heard a gunshot, but you know, and it sounded pretty close, and I heard a car pull off.
Police say the shooting happened after 6 this morning on Cheltenham Avenue and Large Street. 4 armed men approached a victim in his silver Mercedes and tried to carjack.
4 armed super gremlins on demon time. Guys, if you're driving a Mercedes, that's some of these niggas' favorite whips. Remember Justin Johnson, the nigga who killed Young Dolph? People are saying, "Oh man, he looked like he had it. He was in a Mercedes, and niggas be like this on social media, but you can't take everything on social media at face value because they really don't be having it. Even though he had the car, you don't know if he leased it, you don't know how he bought it. These niggas are stealing the cars and then flexing with them on social media. It's not so much the fact that, oh, niggas, they be looking like they have it, but they really broke. No, they stole it. They really do be broke, but they stole the car. It's not even their car.
The victim resisted and the suspect shot him in the stomach.
I didn't hear anybody scream or yell, and I didn't want to run outside.
Neighbors say the victim is in the hospital. Minutes after he was shot, investigators were called to Bridge Street and Somerdale Avenue for shots fired. There, they found a victim who had been shot at but not struck in another attempted carjacking. Police believe the same suspects may be responsible. There was a third attempted carjacking on the 1000 block of Cheltenham Avenue involving this blue Honda. Investigators have not said if it's related to the other two, but the violent crime is leaving neighbors on edge.
Yeah, it's not the safest neighborhood. A lot happens here.
You don't say, sister. You don't say. All right. So at this point, and let me ask the sisters this. At this point, what is this sister supposed to do when all the niggas in the hood, her neighborhood, are jacking cars? They ain't even fuck a job. They're not even working no more. As a matter of fact, the dudes who are working are getting killed by the niggas who are jacking cars. What is she supposed to do? Who is she supposed to deal with?
But myself, and I know the black captain, we've been really working on it.
I worry about my safety all the time. I told my fiance I want to apply for a handgun for protection.
Hold on. Did she say the black captain?
And I know the black captain.
The black captain. So she knows a black police captain. And he tells her, we're on it. Don't you worry. I'm a black police captain and I'm on it. That's your reassurance. That's your reassurance, sis. Come on, sis. That's your reassurance. If anything, that's worse. That's worse. Because there's a likelihood that these niggas could be woke. I'm policing my own. You know, and I fuck with the black officers. I'm not discrediting anything that they're doing, but what I'm saying is a lot of these the captains who are running it, most of the time they sisters. So then, you know, that's where you see a lot of issues as well. But some of these brothers just aren't doing the best job, okay? That's just the reality. Some are now. There are some brothers who are doing a dynamite job, and you know, they need to be applauded, okay? And they need to have certain benefits within society, and that's any officer who's doing their job, okay? But come on. That's your reassurance that the black captain, he's on it. He's like the black Captain America. He's gonna take down every super gremlin that's carjacking. Pew, pew, pew. Like, nah, sis. Nah.
But myself and I know the black captain, we've been really working on it.
I worry about my safety all the time. I told my fiance I want to apply for a handgun for protection. God forbid if anybody comes in past a certain time.
So the glider says he's going to apply for a handgun. What happens to him if he catches one of these super gremlins trying to jack his car and he blams them? What happens to him if he sees one of these super gremlins peeking in somebody's window trying to hit a lick and blow, he smacks him down? Then we got another Ahmaud Arbery situation on our hands. Okay? Vigilante justice.
God forbid if anybody comes in past a certain time.
Neighbors say they're all hoping the victim on their block will recover.
I'm just hoping.
Neighbors and family says Bell really does so much for this community. He just threw the kids on a block a Christmas party a couple months ago to make sure they all have presents. He's also opening his own home care business. Again, so many prayers for Bell this morning as he's in surgery after being shot. Live in Northeast Philadelphia, Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6 Action News. Alicia?
Okay, Becca, thank you.
So guys, there you have it. The loved ones, they're speaking up. So her saying, well, let's get some of the family to speak to the community. I'm telling you, if y'all do, if there's a gathering, like there's a lot of these mothers whose children were killed by gun violence advocacy groups and stuff like that. Whenever there's a gathering like that, it's not many people. Turnout ain't even going to be over 100 people. Okay. Turnout ain't even going to be over 100 people.
Educational tool in many ways to also help them understand and also get an idea of how they can help make a difference. And I think that's something that we all, you know, no matter what you're doing in the city of Philadelphia or across this country, there's something that each and every one of us can do, whether it's a journalist, whether it's community activists. We all have to play a part in thinking of ways that we can begin to make a difference in our communities around this issue. We have to.
Great, thank you. So one more question for you, Dr. Johnson-Spike. There are many journalists who are taking part in this and listening right now. What message would you give them for those journalists who maybe haven't reported on gun violence or gun violence prevention, or those who have? What is one thing that they can do to be better reporters on this issue?
Well, I mean, just ask CNN. They're not really picking these stories up like that. Like the local channels, ABC, Local 10, NBC News, they're picking them up. They're picking them up. Fox, they're picking them up. I don't see any local CNN. I don't see CNN Atlanta covering these stories. I don't.
I think education is always the key for me, as well as for journalists, to understand trauma in a way that is different when there's been a homicide. It's a different trauma than anything else. And to understand the impact and the trauma that the victim or the co-victims experience, and understand the impact it has on them so that they can better support them and support them through even the news media, giving an idea of what that is like.
I want to hear some of these brothers. I want to hear what these brothers got to say, because niggas got to start holding other niggas accountable, all right? I want to see what these brothers got to say.
For the victim, but also to provide information about...
Uh-oh, shout out to Gina GG. She says, with the $4.99 super chat, she says, I love your videos. I hope you gain 1 million subscribers. Everyone needs to hear this stuff. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Gina. We already know what type of time Gina is on.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Shout out to Gina. Shout out to Gina. She's definitely outside with the $4.99 super chat.
Positive things that are happening around prevention. Oftentimes people don't know that there are many different folks on the ground, like Mothers in Charge and many other organizations, in the city and across the...
Okay, so like I said, Mothers in Charge, these female community groups, the mothers whose children have got killed by these super gremlins. And a lot of times, I'm gonna keep it a buck now, mamas, so don't come at me, but a lot of time it's hard to get the masses to get behind you if, and only if, your child was involved in demon time activities. So it's hard to get the sympathy from the masses if, no disrespect, but there are certain mothers in Chicago, Mama Duck, whose, children were no saints. Their kids get caught, by a super gremlin, and then they're out here wanting sympathy. And look, I get it. It's a traumatic thing. You want justice. But at the same time, look what you raised. Your child is getting a reflection of what they sought, the fruits that they sought. Now, a lot of these mothers, their kids were 100% innocent. And that's what a lot of these cases. So I don't want to negate that, but a lot of times as well, it's a feud. There's an instigation and there's back and forths that go on. So it's hard to get the full sympathy and the full backing from the community. Well, I mean, you're going to get certain backing from the community, but you're not going to get that like, oh, a police officer killed him. Oh, we coming out to protest. You ain't going to get that. You're going to get, balloon release. Everybody they're going to be playing NBA YoungBoy at your kid's memorial. Like all types of disgraceful shit. Like, I don't want to hear no fucking rap music when my son just got killed by a nigga who looks just like one of these niggas who are rapping. I don't want to hear it.
The country that are doing very powerful work to address the issue. So hope the media will let folks know, and that way that kind of empowers our community as well, to let them know that there are positive things that are happening around addressing this issue.
Great, I love that. We often fail to report on the positive things in our community, and we focus on those negative things. And there's this crazy loop that happens that everything out there is negative, when actually that's not the case. So I think that's an excellent recommendation. Journalists, if you're out there listening, dig deep for those positive framed stories.
Dig deep. And that's the issue. Why do we have to dig deep? Why isn't it just there? You have to dig deep. Like when I'm out here when I'm out here, like, it's hard to find these positive stories. I've done the story with the New Orleans fathers in the schools, right? If you guys want to go back and check that out, it's called, let me see if I can find it. It's called Dad's something. Hold on. Father, so I forgot what the group was called, but basically the fathers go to the high school and and they reach out to the youth, and they do all these things to, you know, help the community and keep the kids in the schools in line, because the kids are really badly behaved. I'm trying to find that. Now it's bugging me. I gotta find it now. But yeah, the kids are badly behaved, so they have the dads come up to the school and act as a patrol, or act as you know, I guess hall monitors, if you will. Shout out to Reese from Philly. He says, I sold my Benz electric motorcycle now. Yep, and he's from Philly, so you already know what type of time Reese is on.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Reese is definitely outside. That nigga's in Philly. Be safe. But yeah, so it's a different thing, okay?
So Dr. Johnson Spike, you're gonna hang with us for the Q&A, because I know you have more to share. So thank you for those remarks and reflections. We're gonna move us along now to the full panel discussion. We're very pleased and thrilled to have Ernest Owens with us, who will be our moderator for today's panel discussion. Ernest is an award-winning journalist. He's also, in his spare time, when he's not busy writing award-winning stories, he's also the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. And I did a little digging recently and found out that Ernest is also a nominee for the 33rd Annual GLAAD Media Awards for his outstanding print article, The Year of Black Queer Revolution, which appeared in Rolling Stone.
The Year of Black Queer Revolution. No, he did not. Run that back. Did he not? Hold on.
For the 33rd Annual GLAAD Media Awards for his outstanding print article, The Year of Black Queer Revolution, which appeared in Rolling Stone magazine. So Ernest, and Ernest is also CEO of Ernest Media Empire.
So it sounds like Ernest is a booty bandit. It sounds like my nigga Ernest is a booty bandit. So maybe Ernest has a unique outlook. Let's not discount his take. But look at Jessica. She's like, what? What did they say? The Year of Black Queer, huh?
He's a busy man, gives back to the community, a media wizard. Thank you for moderating our panel. But before I pass the baton to you, I also want to give, I think I already thanked everybody. So I'm gonna pass the baton to you, Ernest, to take it away.
Thank you. I was responding to some people in the chat. Thank you all. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Terrence, and to all of the esteemed panelists.
God damn, Ernest, what the fuck? The fuck, Ernest getting his dick sucked. Damn, Ernest, pick your shit up off your dick, man.
Here today. So let's get right into the conversation.
Your audio, Ernest. Come on, brother.
We have a lot of great panelists this afternoon, and I got questions for everybody. So I'm super excited. What a powerful documentary. If you all haven't seen it yet, it is riveting. And that clip is just one of the many highlights of the great filmmaking that was done by Terrence. So
I'm sorry, one quick interjection. We're hearing a little feedback. I think there's some wind.
Thank God.
If you're not speaking, if you could mute yourself. Dr. Spike, maybe if you could put yourself on mute.
That's Ernest, bruh. That's Ernest. It ain't nobody else.
Okay.
I believe that was on Ernest's line.
Oh, it was on Ernest.
The
Okay.
struggle stream,
I think it was the
golly.
fan. I was like, oh, that's the fan.
Okay.
So great.
The
but
fan.
yeah, for that. So the panel, I can't wait to talk to Denise, to Jessica, to Tyreek, to of
Come
course,
on,
Dr.
Ernest,
Dorothy,
just get into
and
it,
Mazzy,
bro.
and of course Beatrice will be
Damn.
doing the Q&A section from the audience. But to get right in, this is my question for the panelists starting. So most stories about gun violence in Black and Brown communities are reported solely as criminal events, usually with only the bare facts about the incident. As
Nigga, what the fuck? What the fuck else are they? What else are they? Normally, the gun violence in Black community is reported as criminal events. Nigga, what else? What else are we supposed to report them as? If we can't report them as criminal, then what? Ernest finna be woke as shit.
As related by the police, which oftentimes reduces this act to a one-off that is not connected to the systemic issues that drive violence.
Uh-oh, they go into systemic. All right. I'm with it. You know, I'm not saying that there aren't systemic issues, you know, but to just discard all of it as systemic, nah, bruh.
So my question to everyone on the panel, starting with you, Denise, what role or responsibility do journalists play in broadening the scope of the reporting to make larger connections?
Well, first of all, thank you all for having me and for wanting to hear my opinion on this, because it's something that's been bugging me for most of the 30 years I've been in the business. First of all, one thing that reporters can do is to not necessarily rely on the police report. Because
what? What? Oh my God. Don't rely on the police report. Say what? So who are we supposed to rely on? The community with the no snitch policy? The niggas who lying? The niggas who telling you, oh, on some real shit, it really wasn't even the way the news reporting. Bro, do y'all know how many times I get emails of these super gremlin like advocates talking, hey, well, on some real shit, you need to get your facts straight. The way the news reporting, it ain't really how it went down. Like on some real shit, like this how it really went down, and this the reason why nigga, I don't care why, I don't care how, I don't care why the motherfucker did what he did. He did some foul shit. It needs to be called out. Niggas in my email, oh, well, the nigga should have been like this, and on some real shit, bro, that really ain't how it went down, bro. You really can't, you can't believe everything that the news say. You can't believe everything that the police say. Like, dog, we get it. But at the end of the day, when these local news stories are reporting, they got to get their facts straight, all right? Now, if it's like a big, like, network where they're giving more opinion-based shit, then I'll be like, okay, there might be some exaggeration or extrapolation into what actually really happened. But when these local news stories are covered, they don't have time to be creating these narratives. They dodge certain words and certain rhetoric to make it seem like they're being racist, and then they report the facts.
Because one, they're generally badly written. Two, they only tell you a quarter of the story. And three, they also, they don't give you the side that there's not a lot of.
They don't give you the super gremlin side. That's what she's trying to say.
Humanity, and then there can't be, because it's a crime report. But it also helps if reporters actually spend some time in the neighborhoods where crime occurs when there's not a crime. One of the things I've always tried to do in my career is make it so when the bad stuff happens.
Hold on, what the fuck did she just say? Did she say crime when there's not a crime?
Reporters actually spend some time in the neighborhoods where crime occurs when there's not a crime.
She said, spend time in the neighborhoods where crime occurs when there's not a crime. Okay, so she wants you to take your ass to the hood as a reporter, take your ass to the hood and chill on the block with Pookie and Ray Ray. Chill on the block with Jenquavius and Zendavius. Just kick it with them niggas for a little bit. See how they live. See what new whip they stole. You know what I mean? See what new food they've got in, bruh. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Is that what she's asking?
One of the things I've always tried to do in my career is make it so when the bad stuff happens, I've been there for enough of the good stuff that there's a trust that people will talk to me. And I think we need to do that a lot more. We need to be...
Bruh, these people be talking to these news reporters. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The families are absolutely speaking to the news reporters. Come on.
Where stuff happens, whether it's bad or good, all the time, if we can do that. I understand from a resource perspective with a lot of news agencies, that's hard, but it's an effort we need to make if for no other reason but Philadelphia has a gun violence problem right now that we need to...
A gun violence problem. A gun violence problem. No. Philadelphia has a problem with these super gremlins on demon time.
See all sides of. And if one of those sides, the human side, doesn't trust us because of when we show up, we're never going to get to tell those stories. So, you know, it may be a little hard. It may require like juggling a schedule or two, but it's an effort that we need to make.
Juggling or a schedule or two to catch the street politics of what's going down in the community. Dude, and this is why she's saying this, because she's saying, oh, we need to humanize them. Bruh, they already do the fucking humanizing on the news, okay? They already doing the damn humanizing on the news. That's the shit that people are tired of. Honestly, like, bro, we don't want to humanize these motherfucking super gremlins. We want them niggas locked the fuck up. Okay? There is no humanizing a nigga who just got... I just did a story on a nigga who killed his grandma. Humanize that. Well, if you just would have spent time with them in the house before he did it, he killed his grandmother and took a 7-hour nap. The nigga got his daily numbers of sleep after he murked his grandma. But if you just would have spent some time with the baby inside of the house, he wouldn't have did that there, did he?
Absolutely. Did anyone want to add to that conversation from the panel? It's a lot there to unpack. Did anyone else want to chime in or add anything to the discussion at that point?
I'd like to say something.
This nigga Ernest ain't got shit to say, bruh. Why is he on the panel? Ernest finessed his ass on the panel. This must have been like a sign up if you're free at 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. to speak on the community center gun violence report.
Ernest, if that's okay. So I'm Jessica Beard. I'm a trauma surgeon from Temple.
Oh, wow. So Jessica Beard is a trauma surgeon from Temple. So she has operated on the innocent and the super gremlins. So she sees it all. Jessica Beard sees it all. A trauma surgeon at Temple University. So she is operating on these people who come in with gunshot wounds all day long. And I bet if one of these brothers would be so kind as to ask her, what color are the majority of people that you operated on with gunshot wounds? I wonder what she'll say.
And I also direct research at the Center for Gun Violence Reporting. And so I can't necessarily answer to the journalist side, but I just wanted to kind of highlight something that Ernest said about the type of reporting that it seems is happening in Philadelphia on gun violence. And what Ernest was describing is what, like in communications theory, is called episodic reports, meaning that it focuses on the kind of the single episode of the shooting. And as Ernest mentioned, really the sources are the police and the narrative is the police.
Oh my God. She is not finna blame the police. She is not finna blame the police for these super gremlins on demon time. See, Hey, man. Hey, man. I don't know, bruh. Dude, she's literally blaming the police on the way that they're reporting and writing up these incidents. They're tapped out. They're writing incident reports over and over and over again to the fact that they can't even get to the little shit. They can't get to the little shit where a nigga slapped this bitch and then she called the police. They can't even get to that. Because we have, oh, this nigga just killed his... Matter of fact, y'all don't believe me? This nigga just killed his bitch. Y'all don't believe me? All right. All right. Okay. And I'm not calling this woman, yeah, I mean, I'm not calling her out a name, but this is what's happening. They can't even report on, they can't even get to the, oh, man just put his hands on his woman. Can't even get to those.
Holden, we begin tonight with a search for a murder suspect. Take a look at your screen right now. Police say this is 38-year-old Rafiq Thompson.
And don't be like, oh, where are you getting these stories? Nigga, this shit happened today.
They say he's armed and dangerous and has an extensive record. Eyewitness News reporter Jasmine Payute is following this developing story.
Armed and dangerous and has an extensive record. And he's on the streets free to pull up to the gas station and murk his ex-girlfriend.
Joins us live tonight in King of Prussia. Jasmine.
Joe, you can still see the chalk outlines here from where shell casings fell at this Exxon off Gulf Road. Tonight, as you mentioned, the search continues for that gunman. Take another look at him. This is 38-year-old Rafiq Thompson. The man is wanted for first-degree murder and other charges after police say he killed 31-year-old Tamara Cornelius while she was pumping gas here in King of Prussia. This all...
God damn. And y'all heard what Nardo Wick said. I ain't never lacking. I pump gas with my gun out. I'm telling you, sisters, it's about that time. It's about that time.
Happened around 10 o'clock Friday night. According to their investigation, authorities say the two had a prior relationship and talked briefly before she went in to have dinner at the Cheesecake Factory nearby.
Yeah, man, we need that school from Dr. Umar bad. We need that school in Philly from Dr. Umar bad, okay? But this is what he
Any black man who is with a woman who's not an African herself is going to have a difficult time getting respect from me. I believe black men need to be with black women. The black family is under attack. Only 1 out of every 4 black women gets married. The black woman is last likely to get married. She's the last married, the first divorced. We have what? 2/3 of our children being raised by working class and impoverished single black female-led households. The destruction of a nation begins in the home of its families. And if we want to save black people, we have to save the black family. And in order to do that, black men have to commit themselves to black women.
They are contacting the college to try to force them to cancel my lecture this Thursday to close out Black History Month. They're claiming I smoke crack.
From there, police say Thompson followed her to this gas station while the victim was pumping gas. Police say the suspect shot her and continued to shoot as she was trying to get away.
That's crazy. I work right down the street, so I've never heard anything like that happening in King of Prussia area. It's pretty scary.
Everything's just getting crazy around here, all over Philly. Like something like that is just like unnecessary.
The beards in Philly are crazy, y'all. There ain't no reason why your beard gotta be this long, God. Come on, God. There ain't no reason why your beard gotta be this long, God.
Sorry.
The suspect has multiple cases dating back to 2011 from charges ranging from aggravated assault to robbery. We'll have more on that tonight. We're live in King of Prussia. Jasmine Payute, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Jasmine.
All right, guys. So the panel is they're losing credibility by the second.
Presented yesterday our research where we interviewed 26 firearm injury survivors. And we found that that type of reporting is causing a lot of harms to people who've survived gun violence.
Guys, we just did a story on the reporting. The reporting is great. It's great. They're trying to say the way the police write up the report is causing a lot of harm. The way the police write up the report is causing the harm. They're just omitting the super gremlins. Well, how would you write up the report, Jessica? If you had to write a report on how many niggas came across your operating table with gunshot wounds, what would you write?
It makes them feel dehumanized and exploited. Those are their words. One of our participants told us that she felt like she was described as a nobody, like she was shot and that's it.
What the fuck does she? What does she want? She's described as a nobody. The suspect shot the victim. Like, bro, they want you to change the English language. Like the beautiful queen, mother of the earth, was shot by a super gremlin. Like they want you to use this elaborate language when, like, bro, they got to get straight to the point. They don't got time to write these motherfucking Shakespearean novels describing who the woman was who got her, who got clapped. They don't got time for that. Like these people are so self-absorbent that the way I got shot, it like, come on, bruh. You lived. You're lucky. You lived. You're lucky. Now go organize a Black Lives Matter protest where it really matters.
And there's other harms include, inaccuracies. You all mentioned that, potentially it's only a quarter of the story, but a lot of times that information, even about, the person's condition or where on their body they're shot, is inaccurate, and that causes a lot of trauma. Participants described watching videos of themselves getting shot on social media that caused them to relive their trauma.
Whose fault is that? Like, don't be acting like everybody with a phone. What the hell is Jessica talking about, bro?
And a lot of distress. And then obviously this type of reporting without its root causes and without solutions.
Here we go, root causes.
Presents a very negative picture of the communities in which it's happening.
This is what they want the reporters to do. This is what they want the reporters to do. Detail this elaborate story of what happened. Root causes, programs. Because the only solutions that these niggas are going to pitch are programs.
So I just kind of wanted to highlight that, not only can we do better, but this style and type of reporting is causing harm.
Guys, hit the like button. Who reports better? Who reports better? Them or Janquavius?
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
Yes, most absolutely. I can, as a journalist who have navigated through crime.
Shout out to Higher Image Status. He says these SJWs and reporters are on demon time. Yes, sir, they are. And you already know they really are. Shout out to High Image Status. He is definitely.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
High Image Status is definitely outside with the $4.99 super chat.
Reporting, community reporting, and all. It seems sometimes like there is this weird dichotomy where community trust in media wanes, because sometimes we'll do a story on crime and people will really be upset or will really grow distrust with certain Republicans.
Yo, shout out to Ock Nation News. He says, "What's up, Jaquavius? It's your boy Octavius. You already know Octavius is."
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Octavius is definitely outside with the $10 super trap.
Reporters, and then a media outlet will come back to the community to publish a story that is a lot more, favorable. And then all of a sudden, that back and forth with the community, the same community with different reporters, you can change the reporters, but you can't change the community's viewpoint of the publication sometimes. And that's something that, I've definitely seen in my role, talking to the publications on how to do better with covering Black and brown communities.
Oh my God, Ernest. Black and brown communities? He doesn't want them to cover it all. Stop covering the crime. Stop dehumanizing the super gremlin. What, nigga?
That are often impacted with crime in Philadelphia, and how to navigate building that trust or advising on it. Tyreek, did you want to add something to the conversation?
You know what? And I won't even be mad at it. If all the news stations just said, you know what? They don't want us covering the Black and brown community the way that we do. We won't cover it at all. We won't cover it at all. Then see how, well, they not covering it. They not shedding the light on the injustices that happen in the Black and brown community. Come on, bruh.
Yeah, I just, once again, thanks Terrence and Ernest for moderating this and putting the panel together. But I just wanted to actually combine both Ms. Denise and Jessica's statements together. First, reporting in the community, doing stories that highlight the positiveness that happens. A lot of stories is always the obituary, or when, when a crime happened, it doesn't detail how that person has actually survived living in that area for the last 15, 20 years without...
Nigga, it don't fucking matter. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, they don't detail the years that he survived the super gremlins. They only detail when he died. Yeah, nigga, because this nigga's dying every day, B. It's niggas dying every day. I did a story on, and this wasn't in Philly. This was in New York. Angeli Yambo, 16-year-old girl, but she survived Brooklyn for 16 years. But they only reporting when she get killed. Nigga, cause nobody would have known her name unless she did get killed. What the fuck is he talking about?
Rec centers, without libraries and things like that. Those are the relationships that build and highlight our community, because even though we are in a gun violence crisis, there are schools around here that celebrate graduations, have assemblies, and have, parenting programs that need to be highlighted too.
Hold on. What schools? You talking about Frederick Douglass? Because if I'm not mistaken, there was like a dead woman's body found outside the school. Okay, they literally had a woman's body found outside one of the schools, burning. That happened late 2021, or was it early 2022? I can't even remember. It's so many things going down in Philly.
So having that relationship, like Mr. Nissan, reporting on all the aspects of the quality of life will enhance it. And just to piggyback off of what Jess is saying, as far as the individuals seeing their videos on social media and things like that, it's become like a sport to media to actually show more of the blood, more of the violence.
Bruh, what the fuck is he talking about? The media covers up all this shit. They put the blurs. They won't let you call super gremlins. They won't give the race. They won't give the they damn near won't give the gender sometimes. The media is giving as little as possible and just trying to stick to what happened. This happened today, and this person is anonymous, but the victim, here's her name. Like, I don't get what this man is saying, bro.
going on. And that's in turns to the retaliation part, because if you see your friend, you see your cousin or someone that you love.
My nigga, video or not, these niggas spinning the block. Get the fuck out of here. Video or not, it don't matter if there's a video out there on what happened or not. If I'm in a organized gang or whatever, like, you think these gang niggas are not spinning the block for niggas who get killed who didn't get caught on camera? No. That's what causes the retaliation. Niggas seeing they homies getting smoked on video. What? There was a 15-year-old Hispanic boy who just got smoked in Philly walking home from school because he was playing hooky and ditching school. And he got caught lacking. He got caught lacking. Bruh, do you really think that whatever organization he's with ain't gonna spin for him? They don't even have to know who did it. They just guessing at this point. So who is he beefing with? We got ops here and there. Okay, we going to spin on all them niggas.
Is being shot and it's broadcasted not only throughout the city but across the country. It becomes more so of a battle now, or who can become the next headline, or who we can put on the next t-shirt.
What, nigga?
Yes. Absolutely. So much. I want to shake things up a little bit.
I ain't gonna lie, Ernest is getting on my damn nerve.
Denise, since we're on this topic around newsrooms, how has this shift in newsroom reporting
I want to see how woke Beatrice is. I really do.
over the past few decades impacted reporting on gun violence? I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but given the issues that you've raised in the past, what changed? I guess what changes to reporting are needed to address these challenges beyond the police reports? Because I agree with you. A lot of times police reports often clearly don't tell the whole story, and oftentimes it reminds me of a press release replacing the ground reporting. So for journalists, we'll get every day a press release that will tell us when, what, when, and where about an event. Journalists are always taught, do not use the press release as your primary source to cover the event. You have to go to the event yourself.
Duh. Like, bruh. What is he? I mean, the first reports are not going to be the final reports. We get that. Everybody understands that.
You can't take the press release for what it is. We know public, PR agents try their best to characterize it, but we also know they have a motive as well, right? They're not going to tell you, what the food really tastes like. You have to go, you have to experience it, you have to see it for yourself.
Now this nigga talking about food. He old hungry ass nigga. You hungry as fuck, ain't you, Arnold?
And that's how I look at police reports personally. I look at them as a press release that comes out from a department, but you trust but verify. What other solutions do you think newsrooms need to do?
That ain't no fucking solution. Change the way you're reporting on it. That ain't no damn solution. They wouldn't be, look at the fucking, this is the nigga logic, bro. There wouldn't be any reporting if the nigga didn't do what he did. There wouldn't be shit to report on if the nigga didn't do what he did.
Especially in Philadelphia, around addressing gun violence beyond the police report, Denise?
Well, it would also help if we had people who actually had connections to the neighborhoods that could go in and talk to people.
And you do. You do. These community activists connected to the neighborhood. These people, doing the balloon releases connected to the neighborhood. Why are they acting like these journalists don't ask the people in the hood what the fuck happened? Every story we do, they're interviewing somebody on the ground, on the scene, on, hey, what happened? From your perspective, what happened? Get the fuck out of here, bruh.
Things that I really, really that I find, really, really great about the Center for Better Gun Violence Reporting is their credible messenger program, where they train people in these neighborhoods to tell their own stories. And
shout out to Acadia with the $4.99 super trap. He is definitely.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Shout out to Acadia. He says, we have an IQ deficiency problem with this panel. All emotion, no logic. Shout out to Acadia with the $4.99 super trap. He is definitely outside.
Part of, how that benefits journalism overall is that they have journalists partner with these people. And that way it becomes a learning experience for everybody involved. And we need to do that. Plus, it would also help if we spoke to folks that are actually teaching journalism and kind of encourage them to tell their students.
This whole panel has been about journalists. They haven't addressed the super gremlin one time.
You've got to go out in the community. One of those rare occasions where Temple University let me teach a journalism class, my students' final assignment was to go out into the neighborhood around Philadelphia, around North Philadelphia, where Temple is, and go out and find some stories. And I didn't want them to necessarily come back with the story of the kid that got shot or the story that.
That's all the fucking stories. Don't come back with the actual shit that's happening in the community. Come back with the anomaly, anomaly who's, about to win the spelling bee or some shit like that. Like, bruh, that's a needle in a haystack, dog.
That, of something bad happening. I said, go out and actually talk to people in the neighborhood. Journalism is about relationships if it's done well. If you're making good relationships, you get information about anything and everything that you could possibly want to know about. And it also helps if you care about getting that information out. One of the things that has always been a big part of my career is I care about getting the story out. I care about whether or not the person who doesn't really get talked to gets their story told. And that's kind of the attitude we have to have, especially when it comes to something like this, because if you were to overlay a map.
They want you to talk to a random nigga in the community where ain't shit happened to him. They want you to talk to a random nigga in the community, ain't nothing happened to him. He just a nigga on the block. They want you to say, hey, tell me your story. Ain't shit happened. I ain't got nothing to say. Oh, you police? I ain't talking to police. Oh, you a reporter? Nah, no comment. Like, what the fuck you want? What do you want? So anyways, guys, we are going to show another story out of Philly, man. I'm trying to keep you guys updated as much as possible, but it's real, y'all.
As the investigation continues,
She tough.
people in the community are coming together to raise money and awareness for the Toomey family. Marcus Espinoza reports.
15-year-old Sean Toomey was shot and killed more than a month ago, yet his impact on the community still remains today, a fundraiser in his honor to benefit his family.
I know Sean Toomey's father had already lost his wife and now his child. And
God dang. So this is the young glider boy, 15-year-old. He was caught in Philly. One of these niggas pulled up, tried to jack somebody else's car, apparently. The boyfriend and the girlfriend came out. They spotted the nigga, so they ran off. And on their way, running away, he's going out to his car and getting some water. I guess they had left some water in the car. So he's going to get some water. And I guess these super gremlins seen him, and then they just shot him, man. I think they shot him twice in the stomach. Like, And these people on this panel are trying to convince us that they're not talking to the family, they're not talking to the people connected to the incidents. Bro, that's all they're doing in the news stories. I actually respect the people who cover these stories, these local news stories, because they're touching on more of these stories. I can't even get to them all, bro. I can't even get to them all. But they're out here digging, they're following up, they're staying with they're keeping up with the family. This happened 2 weeks ago. They don't have any obligation to cover this story, but you see Fox 29 local news is covering the damn story.
I know that he's suffering a lot, and just want to show that he has support.
Christine Padilla is the owner at 50 Shades of Grey Hair Salon in Mayfair. She's also a mother of a young son, and the tragedy
is that a copyright issue or a trademark issue? Can she name her shit 50 Shades of Grey?
The killing of Sean compelled her to do something for the family.
I look at my son, he kind of reminds me of Sean, good boys who, you know, give to the community, help the elderly.
And my thing is, man, as a father, he lost his wife. And I know how that feels because my mom passed away when I was young. My dad lost his wife. Okay? Then you lose your child. This man is left alone in this world. What the fuck else is he supposed to do? He has nobody. He has nobody. That shit is fucked, man.
They're innocent.
So on Palm Sunday, she offered free haircuts to anyone willing to make a donation to the Toomey family. John Haig is a friend of the family and donated $100 for his haircut today, but knows it won't bring Sean back.
I know his father, very nice guy, always talked about his son. He's devastated, definitely devastated. Anybody would be when they lose a kid. That's why I came over first thing. Told my wife, gotta drop money in there.
How many fucking people have they interviewed already? 2 people who know the victim. 2 people who know the victim's family. What's wrong with this reporting? They're doing great fucking work. They're doing great work.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine. That doesn't even do anything. It's something, but it doesn't bring back your kid for the rest of his life. Just watching sports, like he said, goes into his room. Everything's gonna remind him of his son. Never be the same.
Toomey was shot and killed while retrieving a case of water from his dad's car outside his home in March. For Padilla, she's nearly at a loss of words over the violence in the city.
We want our kids to stop dying. We can't even allow them to be outside.
Oh, whoa. What does she mean by our kids? Okay. And we talk about backlash. All right. We talk about backlash from other communities, outside communities. Everybody knows this was a super gremlin who did this. She said, we want our kids to stop dying. Are we going to see some backlash in Philly? I'm asking you guys because I don't know. But, you know, it's getting wild. Everybody's seeing what's going on. They're not really saying it, but they see the shit.
It's like you have to worry if you're sending your son out to get a case of water.
On Tuesday at 5:30 at Frankfurt and Cottman, there will be a rally and protest against the gun violence in the city of Philadelphia. In Mayfair, Marcus Espinoza, Fox 29 News.
So y'all see that they're interviewing the families. Now let's see what bullshit they coming up with.
Of the city's poorest sections, the sections where there's most of the gun violence, and the sections filled with people that we never talk to unless something bad has happened, they're all the same people. And that needs to change.
Absolutely. And I want to ask our esteemed doctor, what do you think about this? As someone who's been in the community, engaging with the media to tell these stories, Dr. Dorothy, how have you navigated relationships with the media over the years to bring awareness to gun violence in your own right? And what do you think needs to change based off of your observations? Because I can imagine it probably took a lot to first start talking to media about these traumatic experiences and things. And then, over the years, I've seen you continue to, engage the media in different ways. And what are some things that you hope will change?
There's only one question I have for Jessica. Jessica, if you're listening, who are you operating on coming in and out of Temple University Trauma Center? Who are these niggas with the gunshot wounds that you're operating on? Please.
Change with all the years that you have kind of been out here, talking to the press. Oh, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Dr. Johnson Spite.
I'd like to start off by saying that over the years, initially,
Oh, hell, he was talking to Dr. Johnson. I thought he was talking to Jessica Beard. I was like, nigga, that's the only real doctor in this motherfucker. He's talking about, okay.
I have formed relationships.
She done got her doctorate in pseudo-psychology of African Bambaataa studies and shit, and now they calling her doctor. But Jessica Beard, she's the real fucking surgeon, and she don't even got doctor in front of her name. You can't make this shit up.
With the media. Number one, because I want my story to be told correctly. So you want to establish relationships with media and have a trust that they will report exactly what you said. So I've been real good about that. I mean, being able to develop relationships. A lot of times, because Mothers in Charge has been around for, this month makes 19 years. So we've been doing this for a while. We form great relationships with the media. And oftentimes the media will come to us because of the longevity of the work that we're doing and how effective we've been. I mean, I think someone said it the other day very nicely. We've been doing the work before it was popular, when nobody was really talking about the increase in gun violence.
They're still not talking about it.
Mothers in Charge was there with our T-shirts on and was able to speak to the media and give them, our stories. And so I think, again, the media, as Denise said, has to be a part of the community. It has to be almost like a family. The media is reporting on us. Let's get it right. But how do you get it right, and how do you know?
The fact that we're 30 minutes in and two of the panelists haven't even said a damn word.
You're going to get a good story or get the information that you're seeking if you don't have a relationship. So everything to me has been about relationships. And over the years, I mean, some of the reporters and things that I've worked with have even since retired since we've started. But the goal was to build those relationships, see who they were, and have them know us as well. So it's really, again, about the education of what we do and the education of who they are and making sure they understand from our perspective, our stories.
Absolutely.
What?
And, to bring that into full circle, Tyreek,
she ain't even say shit.
Do a lot of work with your organization, the Young Chances Foundation.
These motherfuckers just plugging their organization. Pay attention. They ain't said that. These niggas are just plugging my organization. Like, bruh, they trying to get more funding for their programs.
And, I guess, my question for you as someone who's also been in the community doing the work, how can we, as journalists support and enhance, or as the community, I would say, how can we support and enhance, upcoming journalists and institutions that promote positive awareness in Black and Brown communities? What are some of those ways that you think that the community can engage with media to do that?
I think having a seat at the table, one of the things that we do as an organization is we focus on being at.
I know this nigga not finna talk about his damn organization. I know he's not finna talk about the program that he run, bruh. All they're doing is plugging their programs. This is nothing more than a panel to market your program. If you got a 501c3, come on this panel.
At the table so we can get something off the menu. If the media would start a community advisory board to actually assess and talk to community members.
Community advisory board. Bro, what the fuck is the city council? What's the city council? That's your community advisory board right there.
About upcoming events, about these individuals, it will actually have some trust and more effective transparency in the communication throughout. And I use that model because a lot of public safety and public health agencies do that. Say focused deterrence, they use individuals in the community to target people who are most likely to shoot or be shot. So if you had a media outlet that had a community advisory board that not only talked about the positive stuff, but also can give some real insight to the issues and challenges that are going on inside of communities. Every part of our city has a different zip code. And I try to explain that to people in our community that you have a different zip code because not.
It don't matter what zip code you in, these super gremlins in all of them. They in all of them. And they still on demon time.
Only for your address, but sometimes because of the issues, because of the problems that we're going through. So if your media had a zip code, let's say 19145 where we're at, and you targeted that community advisory board and say, hey, listen, there's a spike in violence.
So you want a community advisory board for every zip code? And are they supposed to correspond with other zip codes to find solutions? You know, I wouldn't be against it if I thought that it would really work and bring some change, but I don't think that's it, bruh. I don't think that's it.
What are some of the issues that you think could be addressed to drop that violence? And for us, it would be there's no recreation center around here for.
No, he did not just say a recreation center. Oh, God. Do I need y'all to remind... Do I need to remind y'all about the nigga who shot up the basketball court just last week? Guys, a super gremlin shot up the basketball court in Philly last week. He shot 0 for 60. He shot 0 for 60. And this nigga wants a rec center, bruh.
People have structured recreation and increase educational services.
Midnight basketball, I'm just saying.
Other things like there's no library in the whole Grace Ferry area. Things like that where the reporters can say, well, all right, let's bring some attention to libraries and the rec centers and the schools having safe.
Bring attention to libraries. All right. Okay. This is what I gotta say, bro. You don't think these niggas know that there's libraries in Philadelphia? You don't think they know that there's library? If their ops were in the library, they would be there. Let me say this again. If they ops was in the library, they would be there. These niggas are not I don't give a fuck how many. You could build a library on every block, nigga. You could build a library on every block. I bet you couldn't fill that bitch up.
Places. This is why a 3-year-old who was sitting on her step getting her hair braided was murdered. You know, those are the things.
No, he did not just say that. The reason why a 3-year-old who was getting her hair braided on the steps was murdered, not because these super gremlins are on demon time. It's because they didn't have enough rec centers and libraries for her to go to. My nigga, if she went to a super gremlin library, she would be reading She would have got killed reading, bruh. If she went to a Super Gremlin rec center, she would have got killed shooting hoops.
Attention to libraries and the rec centers and the schools having safe places. This is why a 3-year-old who was sitting on her step getting her hair braided.
I'm sorry I keep stopping it, but safe places, bro, in the community, ain't nobody safe.
It was murdered. You know, those are the things that is a consistent reminder in our community that they will come for the anniversary, but not for the other 364 days of the year.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, bringing that in full circle, that seat at the table.
I need my guy Mozzie. I hope that Mozzie is sane, because he over here like, I don't know if I'm buying this bullshit.
You know, doing beyond just simply covering a story. You know, one of the things I do as a journalist in general is that, and listening to you and listening to Dr. Dorothy, is thinking about how so much of why I've been able to, you know, keep a really good relationship with communities that,
you know what? We need bulletproof basketballs and bulletproof books. I solved it.
When the story hits publish, the story's not over. And that's something that I have felt, that those relationships, those connections, they inspire.
He said when the story is over, the story's not over. Guys, we just covered a Fox 29. They're following up with the young glider boy who was killed by a super gremlin. They're following up. We know that the story's not over. The lives go on and the lives are permanently affected. We know that, and try and keep up with it as much as we can. And if they got a GoFundMe, people donate. But bro, that's not doing anything to tell us that, hey, the story's still going on. That's not a solution, bro.
And make me think about other issues. I think that coverage can influence institutions and work that's happening, research that's being done. And it carries beyond just simply a story that goes online that people will read and both that day or the week after, and then it stops. It continues. And, you know, we see that with a lot of the work that, you know, you're doing, Jessica, on research with the Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting. And I'm curious to know, you know, what have you learned about reporting on gun violence through the research you're doing at the Philadelphia Center?
Finally, he asked Jessica a pertinent question. Well, and this is how she responded. Well, what I've learned is that 96% of the victims are Black. That's the only response that we should hear from her. So let's see how she responds.
Thanks so much, Ernest, for that question. And as I didn't mention before, thanks for involving me in this conversation too. So, you know, in terms of what we're learning from research.
And you heard her, she said, thanks for involving me in this conversation. What do you think she meant by that? Thanks for allowing me, a glider, to come into this minority panel and speak. Like, bruh.
So, you know, in terms of what we're learning from research, well, one of the things that we know is that these, you know, kind of episodic or kind of short narratives about firearm injury, when audiences view them, they tend to blame the victim, right? Like they tend to just see the episode and think, well,
what? Who does that? Jessica, I don't know if you've been watching these local news stories. Ain't nobody blaming the victim unless he was a super gremlin. I could see if it was a rapper who got killed, then we'll be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he probably brought that on to himself. Nobody's blaming the victim. The issue is y'all won't blame the super gremlin.
What was that person doing that caused them to get shot? Whereas when people hear reporting that's focused on themes or focused on root causes, or hopefully, as Dr. Johnson-Spite said, on solutions, people tend to understand a firearm injury, for example, as a public health problem, and the people who are responsible for making it better as, you know, our leaders, essentially, and policymakers. And so kind of from the very beginning, if you're constantly consuming, episodic narratives on firearm injury, now I'm talking about the audience, then you're going to never know what the solutions are. You're never going to know.
Actually, you are. Avoid the super gremlin at all costs.
What communities or groups are doing. You're never going to know what to ask your policymakers for. You're never going to know what policies are there to prevent gun violence. And you're always going to be thinking of firearm injury in this narrow window, which is like a crime problem, essentially. And I think, as I mentioned before, the research with the folks who were injured by gun violence has been super enlightening to help us understand what the harms of this episodic reporting is. So I would say that coming out of that research, for me, and again, I'm not a journalist, but I personally don't see a lot of news value in the episodic reports. And if we're dealing with a situation where there's limited resources, then maybe shifting the focus away from reporting on each gun violence episode or reporting the tally such that community and we're all feeling like, they're just counting people as numbers, almost reaching to achieve.
Actually, they're not even fucking counting anymore. They're not even counting anymore. That's the scary part. They're not even counting anymore. I did a story, and I did this story 2 weeks ago. It's called FBI won't, keyword, won't release quarterly crime stats from 2021. What does that mean for policing in 2022? We're not even getting the numbers, honey. So you're wrong, Jessica Pusky. You're wrong.
They're just counting people as numbers, almost reaching to achieve some higher number than last year, but actually going to interview people who've been shot or coming to talk to me, to have another narrator or other folks who are experts on violence prevention and or the epidemiology of firearm violence. So new narrators instead of police. And then really, for us to demand that firearm injury gets centered and reported as a public health problem, I think those are all really important solutions. And just as, as a distinction between how it's reported now, which is by a journalist who's an expert on crime, like in a crime beat, versus, a journalist who might have more expertise in health and public health, is that once you begin to shift that narrative away from crime, you help people to understand that police aren't the solution for.
Oh, God, she did not just say that. Jessica, honey, Jessica. I think Jessica might be the one who needs some trauma surgery on her brain. This woman did not just say police is not the solution or police are not the solution to gun violence. Jessica, honey. Okay, let's see. Where does Jessica live? Guys, take a guess at where Jessica lives. I don't know. I'm not going to go and look for it, but let's just say that she doesn't live in the community. I'm going to, go out on a limb here and say she doesn't live in the community, right? Jessica doesn't live in the community, guys. And she wants to remove the police. As a matter of fact, she says police are not the solution to the issues in the community. Okay? She says we come to see that the police are not the solution to. Well, let's take the police out of your community. Okay? Let's take all the police out of Jessica's community and put them in the community and see where the super gremlins go.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Quavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what she just said right there, man. I'm disappointed.
Have more expertise in health and public health is that once you begin to shift that narrative away from crime, you help people to understand that police aren't the solution for gun violence, right? Health interventions are the solution for gun violence.
Health interventions. And who's going to do that? Who's going to be the health interventionist who's going to intervene in these super gremlins when they getting on demon time? Who's going to raise your hand if you want, if you're in the chat right now and you're a health interventionalist, raise your hand if you want to intervene in these super gremlins on demon time.
Dealing with long-standing structural inequities are the solutions for gun violence. And our policymakers are also consuming this media. So helping them to understand that is also very important. There's a whole branch of public health called public health media advocacy that helps people to understand that. So the final kind of output of our research is, the goal is to help us to understand and then make recommendations for what the most kind of ethical, impactful, and empathetic reporting would look like around firearm injury.
Empathetic reporting. Empathetic reporting. Bro, they're already empathetic enough. These news reporters, like on some real shit, you could tell that they're just like really, even though they might be woke, they're trying to be really good people. Like, they're already empathetic. They feel for these families. Oh, just a truly sad story. Back to you, Mark. How many times have we heard that? Oh, this is just a tragic incident that happened right on this corner here. And we're talking to the family, and we want to warn you, this is a very graphic story. Like, bruh, they're already empathetic enough.
So
awesome. And there's so much research. I think that
put my nigga Mozzie on the mic, bro. Can we get Mozzie ain't said a damn word and it's been 40 fucking minutes. Can we give him the floor, please?
Has been used in ways that has reinforced stereotypes, and there's some that has been powerful to disavow them. And I think that a lot of the research that has been done at the Center for Gun Violence Reporting has really worked to show that research doesn't have to be weaponized to reinforce the same stigma.
Oh my God. Don't use the numbers to make the point that the community needs more police.
And statistics that have in many ways created harm in our communities, but has actually been used in ways to make us rethink and liberate ourselves in that process. And I just really think that's important work. And then also this panel just showing that you have people that's reporters, you have people that are in academia and research, and then you also have people in the community on the ground working together to unpack these issues, especially in media. My other question largely to the group, and I guess this may be the wrapping up, how does
this nigga talking about wrapping up and Beatrice ain't even spoke, Mozzie ain't even spoke. What the hell?
Current framing and reporting for most instances of gun violence in Black and Brown communities, overall, what are your closing thoughts about how to change the narrative? Because I mean, it's called shift the narrative, but shift and change. But in wrapping up your closing thoughts, each of the panelists, we'll start with Denise, and then from there, Tariq, and then of course, Dr. Dorothy, and then of course, Jessica can close out. But just briefly, what do you think what it's going to take to shift the narrative and changing media perceptions and community engagement around this topic? What do you think is the one crucial thing you think that's going to shift the narrative?
Resources. It's really that simple. If you have
resources to shift the narrative. Resources to shift the narrative.
More people that can do more reporting in these communities where there is where these kinds of things are going on, that's more holistic, that'll change things. So I say resources.
What the fuck did she even just say? Holistic resources, i.e., send my program some money.
All right. What do you think, Tariq? Denise says resources. What are you calling for, Tariq?
I would say the resources also, but also the perception on how they portray Black men, especially in our community. There needs to.
Oh God, my nigga, the only people portraying Black men anyway is Black men. Trust me on that, my brother.
These stories that uplift us in the beginning, not just at the end. Majority of the time when you turn on the news or you read the newspaper, it's always the bad story in the beginning of it. There's 100 shootings or this person was dead, is killed. And then at the end, it's always the 30-second bite of, hey, it was 100 Black men that did a community outreach program. And it's the 30 seconds the trailer goes out. Really changing how they look at us, because we are stereotyped as we're killing each other and things like that. So really.
That ain't no stereotype, my nigga. That ain't no stereotype, bruh. We're stereotyped as we're killing each other. Nah, bro, we killing each other. At this point, it's beyond a stereotype. Everybody knows it, but you want to call it a stereotype. Like, I don't. It's not a stereotype that niggas be sagging their pants. Niggas be sagging their fucking pants, bruh. Okay? That's just the reality of the story. Now, we can try and change the narrative on why niggas are sagging their pants and what we need to do to stop niggas from sagging their pants. But at the end of the day, niggas sagging their pants. We aren't going to be able to create any solutions if we don't identify the problem.
Changing the perception of how they view us as Black and brown people in our community will shift the narrative, because people will respect not only what we're doing, but what we can do without the stereotypes.
Right. So we're talking about resources, cutting and killing stereotypes.
Whoa. We should not use those words. Cutting and killing. No. Do not use those words when you're talking about some shit like this, bruh.
To Dorothy, what do you think?
Yeah, again, I go back to relationships. You know, the media has to have a relationship with the community. You know, they've got to work together, and they've got to be knowing what's going on in the community, other than the shooting or the murders.
So they need to know what else is going on in the community besides the shooting and the murder. Oh, well, they're shooting up. You know what I mean? Like, bro, what else is going on? Seriously. What else is going on? This is not to say that, oh, there ain't no good people. Of course, they're living in fear. The good people in the community are living in fear. They're slaves to the super gremlins. Don't you not see this? Can't you see this? There's no way these people live in a community.
And it should not end every report with no arrest, no motive. How about ending that report with a resource or some support that the community can have a buy-in to?
They do. They do. If you know anything about this crime, make sure you call Crime Stoppers at 888-965-3742. The fuck do you think that is? What do you think that is? That is the resource. Nigga, call the Crime Stoppers.
To get involved with, or if it's a victim, to know where they can go to get support. You know, oftentimes with the suicide, you'll hear at the end of that report the 1-800 number for suicide information. Let's have that same kind of information for violence prevention.
They do. If you see something suspicious, call Crime Stoppers at 888-942-6800.
6783. You can always remain anonymous. Does she not watch the fucking news, bruh?
And the media can do that.
Lord have
And I
mercy.
just really want to thank the Philadelphia Center on Gun Violence Reporting. They're doing.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was on this panel, I would tear their ass up. I'll tear them up.
It in a great way. So kudos to them.
Thank you. And wrapping up quickly, Jessica, we got resources, relationships, killing stereotypes and narratives.
I think this will go into what we're going to hear from Mazee, but public health.
My man scratching under the beard. This nigga got, hold on. He got the mustache coming from his sideburns and no little goatee. That should look crazy. I ain't gonna lie. These old niggas are something else.
Crime problem. Report gun violence as a public health problem, which by definition will require journalists to delve into root causes and identify, and it's not a puff piece when you describe solutions.
They literally want you to say after every time a black man kills another black man or black woman or black child or white child or Mexican child, anytime a black man kills someone, they want you to say the reason this nigga, I know he killed a 15-year-old, but the reason why he did it is white supremacy. They want you to say that every single time. That's what they want. That's the root cause that they want you to say. Okay? That's all they want to hear. Yeah, all this gun violence is happening in the community, but the reason why it's happening is because white person.
Right? You actually really delve into those and help people to understand them, and you can be critical of potential solutions as well as a journalist, with the understanding that what media is doing is they are helping the public to understand the problem. Right now, the public understands the problem as a crime issue with individuals because they're seeing episodic reports.
It's not every individual. It's not every individual. They're not going by the Asian store and, oh my God, these individuals are crazy. No fear in your heart. No fear in your heart. But when they see that super gremlin with a Pooh Shiesty mask, then it's a problem.
The public needs to understand the problem as an issue of people's health and of social justice and of racial justice. And I think
you can't have health if you're fucking dead.
Getting rid of an episodic report in favor of a public health and solutions frame is my recommendation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you all so much for your insight and your views. I'm super excited to now pivot to talking to Mazee, who recently created the Philly Truth app.
Mazee, you better be on some real shit. Let's go. Come on, cook, Mazee. Let's cook.
That puts individuals and with knowledge to knowledge conflict in touch with mediators. So basically, those people who are on the ground that might be having a beef or a problem before it escalates to gun violence or any type of physical violence.
My nigga Mazee look like he's supposed to be on a damn Cosby show. my nigga is auditioning for the Jeffersons Part 2.
This incredible app allows people to be in touch with mediators to resolve it in a more peaceful way. And so
bro, they trying to get these mediators killed out here. They trying to get these mediators killed out here.
To have Mazee join us in this conversation. And I wanted to, I know that, you're also asking journalists to take a public health approach to reporting on gun violence as well. So I guess my question for you first is, why did you create Philly Truths? And what would a public health approach to reporting on gun violence look like?
Okay, why did we create Philly Truths? So my name is Mazee Casher. My partner Steve Pickens, who co-created this with me, is a 19-year veteran of the fire department. So I mean, we created it because we intuitively know that primarily, first and foremost, our community is responsible to address this. So our premise is that, with the app, you can give help.
What does he mean by that? The community is responsible to address this. You mean responsible for addressing this? All right, come on, Mozzie. Don't lose me, bruh.
Help or you can get help. You know, there's two primary buttons on it. One says get help, one says volunteer. You know, that's simplifying.
God damn it. Is this nigga, is he plugging one of his programs?
You know, with the app, you can give help or you can get help.
This nigga plugging an app. this Steve Jobs butler, goddamn.
Help. You know, there's two primary buttons on it. One says get help, one says volunteer. You know, that's simplifying it a bit, but you know, as you stated, I'm
gonna tell you right now, these super gremlins are not using your app, dog.
Primary service at this time is mediation for people who have knowledge of potentially violent conflicts for themselves or loved ones, neighbors, and you know, the bottom line right now is saving lives and avoiding prison. So that
saving lives and avoiding prison. Okay.
That's why we created the app to do our part. What was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
You know, how do you, I guess, frame it around, like, what would a public health approach to reporting on gun violence look like? That's something I know you've talked about in previous settings and forums. What does that public health approach look like for gun reporting?
Yeah, it's most of what Dr. Beard said, you know, to contextualize and humanize the fact, you know, that whether or not the mayor or anybody else thinks that this is a state of emergency, that...
Hold on, you're not Dr. Beard? This whole time, I thought he was Dr. Beard. Look at his shit.
In fact, it is for us. And I think to put it in the frame of a public health crisis involves like, or it invites like a holistic view of the issue, causation factors, the challenges, the victories, and really that if we could frame it like that, we have a doorway to step through to start thinking about.
God damn, my nigga speaks slow as shit. Yeah, come on, Mozzie, I was depending on you, bruh.
Protocols differently. You know, like I've been in situations where, you know, life-saving mediations were scheduled and then canceled because, you know, the people didn't have a COVID vaccination and they didn't want to bring the people together. You know, like, so.
What, nigga? Bruh, for one, this issue did not happen just because of COVID. This has been going on. This ain't a COVID thing, bruh. Anyways.
I feel like if we contextualize it, you know, and the COVID is a very dead horse for me personally, but we did learn from it.
Uh-oh. Look, Jessica laughing. She's like, haha, he's probably anti-vax. What an idiot.
How to get into action quick. And I think if we can rebrand the situation as a true public health crisis, I mean, in terms of the public safety, but also.
Bruh, it don't matter if you... Gun violence is now a public health crisis in the city. And... well, once we declare it a public health crisis, then we can do something about it. And what's your solution? More programs. More programs. You get a program. You get a program. You get a program. You get a program.
The mental health crisis that drives it. I mean, we hear about trauma and all this other stuff. Those are, you know, mental health crises. So it's a way to brand it that, you know, hopefully we can stop acting like it's going to fix itself.
This nigga didn't say shit. The whole time I was listening, I thought he was going to say some real shit, but he didn't say a goddamn thing.
Absolutely. And then I guess my last question is, you know, what exactly are you asking journalists to do? You know, what do you think would be the best ways for journalists to take this app, utilize this app for the resource information around the public health tier? What do you think that journalists
Oh man, y'all got me dead. This nigga said go back to sleep, but yeah, that nigga was asleep the whole time, I swear.
specifically can do, to help, further the cause?
Well, I mean, I think in terms of the app itself, I mean, everyone in the community, and as we said, the media, the news has to see themselves as part of the community. Everyone in the community is invited to download this app.
Damn, this nigga talking about the fucking app.
Nigga, you are not Steve Jobs. You are Steve Jobs' driver. You'll never be Steve Jobs, bro. The app ain't it, bro. The app is not it. Maybe you can be on the new Jeffersons cast, okay? Maybe you could do a reboot of the Cosby Show, okay? Maybe you could star in a reboot of any 90s sitcom. But today, my nigga, today, the app is not doing shit. The app's done, bro. I know you're trying to get your bag. I'm not trying to fuck the hustle up, but the app is not going to stop. The Super Gremlins are not downloading your app, my nigga. They're not downloading your app. Unless it doubles as a scale or something. If you could probably turn it to a scale, then they'll download your app. They're not downloading your app, bruh.
And play a part, right? It's either get help or give help. Sometimes these people hit you up and really they just need to be talked off a ledge or they stressed out. So this is community to community help, right? Community self-responsibility. So if we look at the media as part of the community, they can download the app, they can spread the word, they can let people know that this exists. We do not work with the police. We do this community.
They don't work with the police. All right, he's not part of the solution. There, you have it. He said, if you download our app, we will not work with the police. All your information, you can beef with your ops on my app. Matter of fact, my app is actually turning into a social media platform for Super Gremlins. Any gang is welcome. We do algorithm perks. You'll gain a whole bunch of followers. And like, bruh, we do not work with the police. That's where the nigga lost me.
If we look at the media as part of the community, they can download the app, they can spread the word, they can let people know that this exists. We do not work with the police. We do this community to community. We believe we are capable and able, and in fact,
guys, this is what policing your own looks like. A nigga from the set of the Jeffersons creating an app. Did they time travel to get this nigga? Like, this is why the elders are failing us, bro. Because, like, nigga, we had to go back to 1970s to pull this nigga on the panel. How did he even learn how to use the Zoom lab? Like, how the fuck did he learn? How do they have computers? What type of computers did they have in the 70s? How is this nigga live streaming? There's no way they had a webcam back in the day, bro. Come on.
the only ones who are. Yes, we demand. And
yo, shout out to TJ, the conservative hustler. He says this jive turkey. God damn, for real, this nigga's jive as a motherfucker. Oh, this nigga jive turkey, man.
To the resources, etc., etc. But let me just wrap up with this. What can the news do that looks radically different? The best example is COVID or any other emergency. You set aside an extended period of time, you assign some people specifically to it.
Yo, y'all got me dead in the chat. This nigga said OpFinder automatically scans Facebook and Instagram lives for your And hey, just remember, guys, OpFinder does not work with the police.
When you talk about it, you talk about it as the result of systematic issues.
God damn, these things is crazy, bro. Systemically systemic systems that are symptomatically, systemically, symptom-tastically simping to simplicity to create a system that systematically synthesizes apps and synthesizes the systems that are systematically systematized while they're systeming your systemic endocrine system to create an app.
Issues, you know, and so that way you got to talk about school, you got to talk about the police, you got to talk about the parents in the communities, you got to talk about
Okay. Schools, parents in the community, I can get behind that. Schools and parents in the community, I can get behind that.
jails, you got to talk about you know, educate, you got to talk about everything that leads to this. You can't just talk about the end result. And you got to talk about why the guns are in the street. Where's the ATF and all?
Here you go, blaming the guns. Why the guns are in the street? I know he is not finna say they left the guns on some trains and then we picked them up and brought them to Philly.
All of that. You got to talk about everything if you treat it as a crisis. Otherwise, you just continue to dehumanize Black people, and you know, we look like animals.
Nigga, who's bro? The only people dehumanizing Black people are these super gremlins on Demon Time.
And all of that. You got to talk about everything if you treat it as a crisis. Otherwise, you just continue to dehumanize Black people, and you know, we look like animals. So
Very powerful points. Thank you so much.
Hey, these niggas are animals, bro. That shit is fucking crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Mazi. And transitioning to this wonderful you know, Q&A section, you, the audience, has had a chance to put in questions throughout the entire discussion, and Beatrice Foreman, who is going to help steer the curated questions from the audience throughout, feel free to add more, but I know she's going to start reading some of the questions that are for the panelists from the audience today.
Guys, I know I said I was only gonna read the chats that were super traps, but y'all too fucking crazy, bro. I can't help but read some of these. That shit, man, this is crazy. I don't know if I'm the only one in shock, but it's wild to me. They haven't addressed the super gremlin once.
Hi guys, thank you so much for being such great active participants and asking tons of hard questions. My name's Beatrice. I'm a deputy.
Yo, what the fuck does Beatrice know about a super gremlin, bruh? What does Beatrice know about a street nigga and his mentality? What does Beatrice know about some street shit?
The editor with Billy Penn, but I've also done some reporting on gun violence with a more humanistic and solutions-oriented approach.
Humanistic.
Please keep questions coming in the chat, but we have a lot queued up, so we'll see what we get to. I'm going to start a little bit broad and then kind of narrow our focus. So I want to start with a really good question from one anonymous audience member who ended up asking, you know, in the context of this conversation, when we're hearing about lots of extractive reporting practices and an overemphasis on police reports and crime narratives, is it that standard journalistic practice is outdated and insensitive? Is it just the...
So now, who's more insensitive? Dog, this is blowing my fucking mind. Who's more insensitive here? The journalists who are doing a damn good job. I can't take shit away from these journalists, man. If it wasn't for them, nobody would know these damn stories. I can't take a damn thing away from these journalists. They may get, you know, technical shit here and there wrong, but they always give you an update to the story. They may be wokey woke in some, they do, but they keep it objective a lot of the times. They're doing a fantastic job.
What else can they do?
You know, the facts of what we do, or is it something else that creates this distrust between the media and the public? And I'll direct this towards Denise and Ernest, first and foremost, but I'll also love to have, you know, Tyreek or Dr. Dorothy jump in. So any amalgamation of you guys.
Yeah, I'll take that on. You know, it's cool to be on the other side quickly but briefly. So I just want to say that I think that, like, all of these issues, every industry involved in this should be evolving. The police department should definitely evolve. It should actually have a lot of things happen to make it, you know, different. But I would say that when I think about government, how government has addressed gun violence, the conversation of seeing gun violence as something of a public health crisis is still a new phenomenon. And I think with journalism, journalism has to evolve, reporting has to be evolved. I am someone personally who is against the crime beat. I think that treating crime as a section of a newspaper or media outlet.
He doesn't want any reports on crime. This is what happens when you let these types of people run the community. Ernest. Guys. This is the flavor that BLM was. He's the same flavor. That's all I'll say. Ernest.
Is counterproductive, I think, to actually getting us to a place of humanizing people. I have made a point that in most of the publications that I write for personally, I don't write for publications that have a crime section.
Lord have mercy. So this nigga doing the blogs, he writing for the Shade Room. This nigga, he doing blogs, bro. All right, he's come on, bro.
And any of the ones of which I've had worked with in the past, I've tried to work actively to try to eradicate them. I think that it says something when you look at a crime section and it will have more diversity and inclusion in the crime section than any other section in the newspaper.
What, nigga? The crime section has more diversity, inclusion. You talking about niggas, bruh? That ain't inclusion, bro. These are the people who are getting killed. It's not like they're trying to be inclusive or this is the reality, bro. This is what's happening. It's not that they're saying, well, we're only going to include black people in the paper. Bro, that's such bullshit. If you in the paper, you're going to see reports about athletes. You're going to see reports about all these. You're going to see reports about black people winning mayoral candidates, running for office in the city council. You're going to see black women being nominated as a Supreme Court justice. You're going to see all this shit. Bro, this shit is wild.
No one ever thought of that. They'll say, we have a hard time covering communities, but you'll see more mug shots. You'll see more images of black and brown men and women being incarcerated in the crime section than you actually would see in, let's say, politics or you know, arts and crafts or arts and entertainment or the food section. And so I think that if we're trying to really change and disrupt how diversity, equity, inclusion is perceived or seen in media, we need to actually do a self audit and
this nigga talking about some damn LGBT shit. He done already switched the damn topic to LGBT inclusion. That's what the fuck he talking about. That's what he talking about.
reckoning within our own institutions on how we perpetuate racism and these stereotypes internally. I've always said to a lot of these newsrooms in Philadelphia, specifically predominantly white newsrooms, that before you try to be the moral compass of a community and
guys, he's saying that the white people are trying to be the moral compass. Look at him trying to shame Jessica.
if Jessica would have said anything regarding any black, if she would have said the word black, she would be, every woman on this panel would curse her the fuck out. But he's saying white people need to stop being the moral authority. What, nigga? Bro. These are the people who are our leaders, guys. These are our leaders. And I know people are going to be like, well, they ain't leading me. Shit. Well, they're in a position where they can definitely affect what the fuck's going on in the community. And what they're affecting is in a negative way. Look at him. Like, it's like he's actively trying to make Jessica uncomfortable.
Rooms in Philadelphia, specifically predominantly white newsrooms, that before you try to be the moral compass of a community.
Look, Jessica's like, okay, I heard him say white. I'm the only white person. Let me play my cards right. Just agree, nod, and look concerned.
And set the parameters on what is wrong or lawlessness. You need to get a mirror and look at what's happening in your own newsroom and see how, if there are
nod, there goes the nod. Yes, their newsroom. Yes, what's happening in their newsroom? What? The what? The editor you know, fucking a couple of the journalists here and there. That's the worst that's happening in their newsroom. He may, you know, do a line off of the bitch ass when she got a newspaper. She's reading the newspaper in the morning. He doing a line off her ass. Maybe he fucked Shorty after the after work, bro. But they ain't killing. They're not, bro. Come on, dog. He's trying. I'm telling you, deflect, deflect, deflect. Do not talk about the super gremlin on Demon Time.
You need to get a mirror and look at what's happening in your own newsroom and see how, if there are such diversity, equity, inclusion issues or perpetuation of such. I will say this briefly, and it circles back to all of this, is that I think about the White House during the Trump administration.
Oh, God.
And so many.
No, he's not finna bring Trump into this, bro. These niggas are still on Trump. Forget about Trump, bro. It's over. It's over. Oh, my God. Trump is still triggering me in 2022. Trump is still triggering me in 2022. He said something about LGBT. Actually, no, he was for LGBT. Well, he said something about black people. Actually, well, he let Kodak out. Well, he said something like, bruh. The fuck?
Newsrooms were covering how the Trump administration, and I have that many people of color in their administration, and how it was predominantly white, and how it suggested white supremacy and other problems, which were.
No, there he goes. He said it. He said it. Amigo Kandu said nobody said white supremacist yet. Leave it to the moist brother to bring out the word white supremacy. And Trump didn't have enough black people in his office. And because y'all niggas is fucking shit up. Let's keep it a buck. Look at New Orleans, man. The DA is a brother, a bald-headed brother. And they're at the brink of rudimentary just destruction. Look at Atlanta. Shootings everywhere. New York, Mayor Eric Adams. Like, bruh. These niggas is fucking shit up. I'm not gonna lie. All right? Now, that doesn't mean if you ain't qualified, you can't get the job. Obviously, that's not what it means, but damn. He got Ben Carson, but y'all took his black card away. Like, bro, you acting like he didn't hire no niggas. Like, bro, Trump definitely had some black folks on his administration. He tried to get people up to the White House to have a sit down and conversation. Niggas didn't want to talk to him. There was a whole movement. Even Steve Harvey went and talked to Trump, and then afterwards he had to denounce Trump. So niggas was trying to get up there, but when y'all get up there, y'all act a damn fool. You act like you ain't got no damn sense.
Predominantly white, and how it suggested white supremacy and other problems, which were valid. But then I looked at their newsrooms and I said, well, how do you not think that your newsroom with all of these other people there, how does that not project the same types of concerns? And how does community engage with that?
I actually have a follow-up question from another audience member on this point that says, the solutions we've outlined in this conversation are pretty clear.
What solutions? Y'all, she just said the solutions that we outlined in this conversation are pretty clear. What?
But what are some of the barriers journalists face trying to change this type of reporting within their own newsroom? So how can kind of we best identify those barriers so we can overcome them internally? I'll address this to Ernest, and actually maybe Jessica.
Uh-oh, Beatrice said, oop, I'm taking over, bitch. This is my panel.
Since you do Dr. Beard, because you do a lot of work with media framing, it seems.
Yeah, I would also just say, as the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, one of our big—
What, nigga? The president of Philadelphia Association for Black Journalists? Niggas just be making associations just to say they in charge of some shit.
Also, just say, as the president of the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, one of our biggest pillars of conversation has been focused on diversifying newsrooms, not just with Black and brown reporters, but actually decision makers.
Bruh, there's plenty of Black and brown reporters, bruh. We got plenty in Atlanta, and ooh, they fine. Okay? We got Black and brown reporters. What the fuck else do y'all want?
Makers such as editors, television producers, the people behind the scenes.
He's just trying to get niggas into entertainment. Television producers, the people behind. Bruh, that's not finna change shit. It's not changing nothing in the community, bruh.
Because sometimes I think we, ignore and we leave out these individuals in this process. And so I think that we need to look at media leadership, not just being the people on the ground, but the people who are behind the editorial rooms and things of that nature. So I think that's really an important, framing for me, at least up top. What do you think, Jessica?
So the question is, how can the change actually happen in newsrooms?
Yeah.
I think that, part of the work that we're trying to do is kind of shine a light on what's happening. So we actually collecting all of the kind of news.
Jessica, what's happening on the surgery table? Who are you? Who is coming in with these GSWs that you're operating on? Please tell us that.
Content over a year on firearm injury on local TV news. And, what we're finding is that it is those episodes that it's, highly racialized, that it's very short.
The reason why it's highly racialized is because the only niggas that are getting shot, with the exception for a few, are us. Just like I did that story in New Orleans where that homicide detective, he was a Black homicide detective, a strong brother. Okay. He said 96, he investigated 100 murders and 96% of them were Black. Why have y'all not addressed the super gremlin?
And I think our goal is to actually sort of help journalists to kind of see what's happening, and then kind of, present with alternatives, right? So one of the very interesting kind of case studies that we hear is, oh, there's not enough resources for this empathetic reporting or for going onto the scene and talking to people. But I don't know if you remember
Bruh, they're doing that already.
A dog walker back in January who was a young white man who was shot in Brewery Town. But there's incredible amount of empathetic reporting about his shooting.
Bro, that's such bullshit. That's such bullshit. They're empathetic with every story, dog. They're empathetic with every damn story. The fact of the matter is, it's too many niggas getting killed. How can you be empathetic for this little nigga who got shot on the stoop just chilling if the next day, literally, another little nigga gets shot, like, you don't have enough empathy to go around. There's not enough empathy to go around. Even look at the story that I did on the 15-year-old. Like, this is so intellectually dishonest. The 15-year-old boy, bro, nobody knows who the fuck he is, bro. Nobody's talking about Sean Toomey. Nobody's talking about him. It's not a national story. They did one follow-up story. Bro. And she has the nerve to say, well, they don't care as much when a white person gets...
With follow-up pieces and things. So I don't know if helping folks to understand that in fact, when the victim looks different, that reporting is different, it could be helpful. And then, you know, what we're working to do too is to design and kind of understand alternatives based on, you know, what all stakeholders think.
I have another question, and this one is for Denise. This was asked by a dear friend of mine, Katrina Janko, who used to work at Rizal Philly and is now a freelance journalist. And she wants to know is that, should we get with the breaking news reporting on gun violence entirely, or is there a way to shift it and make it better?
To me,
they want y'all niggas out here blind. They want y'all out here naked. No gun violence reporting at all. Did you hear what she just said? They want y'all out here not knowing what the fuck is going on in these streets, man. So if a nigga just got shot on MLK, no reporting. Nigga just got shot in the apartment complex you live in, no reporting. If you slept through it, you didn't hear it, it's OV. You just gonna go outside and it's gonna be 30 police in your damn hallway. You ain't gonna know why. Shout out to Boy Kachina. He says, help journalists see what's happening and offer alternatives. What? Shout out to the brother Yardie.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Boy Cochina is definitely outside with the $8.08 super chat. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry. He put 5 on it with the $5 super trap. He says, you from ATL? I'm 33, drive trucks. Is there some sort of spell that makes blacks hate each other? You already know. Cyrus Cherry is dead.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
My nigga's a truck driver from Atlanta. He's definitely outside.
Or is there a way to shift it and make it better?
To me, if you're going to do breaking news on gun violence, it's got to be something like...
Hold on. Let's get her to ask that question again, because I want to see how she framed it.
He wants to know is that, should we get with the breaking news reporting on gun violence entirely?
This shit is disgusting. Abolish breaking news gun violence reports. Abolish the police while you're at it, too. They just want us out here fucking naked. Imagine combining abolish breaking news gun violence report and abolish the police. Combine those two policies and see what type of fucking community you have.
Or is there a way to shift it and make it better?
To me, if you're going to do breaking news on gun violence, it's got to be something like, I don't know, the January 6th insurrection.
Wow. Oh my God. She did not bring up... She did not say the January 6th insurrection. That insurrection, that's the only time you should do breaking news gun violence. The only time. And none of them in the insurrection, if I'm not mistaken, none of them, they ain't even bust a gun. They ain't even bust a gun, but they bust a gun in them Black Lives Matter protests, didn't they? Ask David Dorn. Okay, rest in peace to that brother. They bust that 74-year-old black man killed in the protest. They bust a gun with in the Black Lives Matter protest. These niggas got casualties from that shit. And January 6th, bitch got shot in the throat. They ain't even bust a gun. Officers let him in the damn Capitol building. Shout out to Junebug, man. He says sad, man. These leaders are letting them in and hiding it. So sad. I'm spreading your name on popular stream to spread your words. Y'all, man, y'all already know Junebug is.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
This nigga Junebug know the vibes.
Violence entirely, or is there a way to shift it and make it better?
To me, if you're going to do breaking news on gun violence, it's got to be something like, I don't know, the January 6th insurrection.
Insane. If a nigga got shot on my block, I want to know. I want to know. Because the streets talking is worse than the news talking. I'm going to tell you that much right now. Y'all think the police get some reporting wrong? Oh, the streets going to get it all fucked up. If Jaquavius shot Jenquavius, then the story would be out that Jenquavius got shot by like these random niggas and this, that, and the third. They'll blame everybody. It'll be war in the streets. It'll be war in the streets. So she doesn't want the mass shooting that happened at London nightclub, the mass shooting that happened at the Texas concert where that little boy died and 10 others were shot. In London nightclub in San Francisco when 6 people were killed. 2 of them were black men. One of them was a black woman. She doesn't want breaking news gun violence to be reported on incidents like that. If basically what she's saying is, if it involves a black person, don't report on it.
It's got to be worthy of the title breaking news. I don't think that 2 guys getting into an argument on 19th and Lehigh and shooting each other rises to the level of breaking news.
Wow, this is what she thinks of. This is what she thinks of you black men. This is what she thinks of you black men. This is what this sister thinks of you black men. Okay? This is what this sister thinks of you black men.
I keep telling you, consciousness over coochie, politics over punani.
You already know what it is, man. Consciousness over coochie, man. Do not let these. She said it's not breaking news worthy if 2 black men kill each other. Think about that. She wants y'all niggas out here naked.
On 19th and Lehigh and shooting each other rises to the level of breaking news. And because it's considered breaking news, that's all anyone wants to focus on.
Shout out to Cyrus Cherry with the $5 super chat. He says they don't want to report it because they want us to exterminate each other. I went to an HBCU and the violence gave me PTSD.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
God damn. Shout out to Cyrus Cherry with the $5 super chat. Any nigga that went to an HBCU is definitely outside.
And no, it's not break. It really isn't. It's really not that. It shouldn't be reported that way. I'll just put it that way. But a lot of that is.
I got a solution. Just take the breaking part off. Just say news. Solution right there.
a lot of how we, judge whether or not something's breaking news or not breaking news is because of who we are aiming newscasts toward. I remember speaking to a news director who is no longer a news director here in the city, and she told me point blank that their newscast was aimed at white women in the suburbs. And what do white women in the suburbs want to know? They want to know whether or not
Jessica's getting real uncomfortable. You see the vein coming out of Jessica's head. She's like, fuck, I'm a white woman in the suburbs. Fuck, she called me out. God damn it. I thought they would be nice today. Fuck.
At white women in the suburbs.
She's like, yes, white woman in the suburbs. That's me. I raise my hand. Yes, I'm a white woman in the suburbs. Yes, make me feel guilty. Please make me feel guilty. It gets me wet when niggas make me feel guilty.
And what do white women in the suburbs want to know? They want to know whether or not they can go to the city and do the things they want to do there and come back safely.
Oh, so that's the motive. They want white women from the suburbs to be out naked. So they want the white women in the suburbs to catch the heat from these super gremlins on demon time.
So of course, there's this focus on neighborhoods where you may not be able to go because they're not perceived as safe.
I'ma just tell you right now, white women from the suburbs ain't going to the community, period, bruh. They're not.
And why talk about the good stuff in the city when there's all this bad stuff that you can talk about? So I think that I have to.
Her take was so fucking racist. It's crazy.
To agree with your friend in theory about breaking news reporting and how maybe that's run its course. Because like I said, to me, if it's a breaking news story, it's something a whole lot bigger.
Shout out to Stephen Bucart. He says, I retired from healthcare in Philly and I don't miss having to deal with gunshot victims. 99%. Let me read that again. 99% black males shot by other black males at all. Philly politicians turned their backs to it years ago. God damn, if Stephen Bucart was working healthcare in Philly.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
My nigga Steven was outside for real with the shits. Shout out to Acadia. He says, the white right is too busy stocking ammo, prepping, building bunkers, and parallel economies now. They can see what time it is. Both of them brothers are outside.
Than two people having a fight. It's like the January 6th insurrection or a mass shooting or something like that. That to me is breaking news.
We have another question from Sabrina, who runs Up the Block. And she wants to know that in the post-COVID era, what are some important spaces community engagement reporters can find themselves in to best serve those looking for information reporting regarding gun violence? And I'm going to direct this to Tyreek and Dr. Dorothy.
Dr. Dorothy, you can go first, ladies.
I'm not clear on the question.
It's I guess, like, where should community engagement reporters go in a time like this to find the best sources and the best resources to recommend readers?
So there are many community organizations that are out on the front lines every single day doing this work, and good reporters know who they are and know where they are. And so again, that information needs to be communicated to the community at large, again, through reporting. I think that Denise has been around for a while and she's in the community quite a bit. I see her everywhere sometimes. And so she is well aware of the things that are
Denise better be careful, because these niggas won't hesitate to put a older elderly sister down. I'm just saying.
happening and the positive things that are happening in the community and community events that are going on that are, engaging the community and doing positive things in the community. So that should be made available again from the media to the community. And then the community, once again, is educated on the things that are happening, that they can get involved in, and also be able to see positive things that the media is reporting on.
Shout out to Hell's Triangle with the $2 super trap. He says 500 shootings, 400 carjackings in Philly this year.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
God damn, Hell Triangle is spitting that truth, man. He outside.
Because everything is not necessarily bad in this community, but the breaking reports would make
Everything's not necessarily bad. The fact that you have to say necessarily is a problem. Where the hell is Ernest and Mozzie, man? Ernest, bring your big ass back to the damn panel, nigga. Bring your ass back to the panel. This nigga Ernest went to go get a damn Big Mac or some shit. And Mozzie, I don't know. This nigga went to, oh shit, I don't even know. He went to go get a shoe shine or some shit.
you think that that's all that's happening, and that's not true. But reporters that are in the community, involved in the community, can share that information, and I hope they will, and find a way to do that. And I think, again, just to point out, I think the media leadership, I think Ernest talked about that. I hear oftentimes that the local journalists and reporters want to report on certain things, but that doesn't always they don't always get the opportunity to do that because there's somebody else making those decisions.
Because it's just there's way too much violence to report on some random shit like, well, young brother in the hood got an A on his Spanish test, and now he's learning how to be bilingual. Like, bruh, niggas ain't got time to do them stories, bruh. It's too much killing going on.
And so I think oftentimes these conversations need to include the folks at the top who oftentimes aren't connected to the community in the ways that they should be. And because of that, may not even allow reporters to do or give the time to the reporters that is needed to report as they should about the positive things in the community. So it's bigger than just this conversation. I think it needs to be, and I hope you guys will begin to continue this conversation on getting the media leadership, those in the administrative positions, to understand the importance of this.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off Miss Dorothy.
Shout out to Romer Dubost. He says these pseudo-intellectual sisters is just trying to find a way to line their pockets off of black-on-black crime without getting it reported.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
That was real. Romer Dubost is definitely outside.
Also on doing the research and having the reporters who are in the community, but also since COVID, like Jessica was saying, the research, a lot of research as far as the violence has occurred, but you also can look at how these particular communities, especially in South Philadelphia, a lot of startup businesses from single mothers and fathers who had to find a way to get more income in a positive way.
Yeah, that's true. But bruh, we can't do a story every time a nigga make a business on LegalZoom. We also got a whole bunch of chicks with lash, but like you can't. Well, Shaniqua has her own lash business, and Laquita is following up with her own lash business as well. We got a whole bunch of, like, come on, bruh. Shaniqua is starting her own weave company. Like, bro, you can't just do stories on some shit like that, bruh.
Well, I know some sisters who done got LLCs and businesses, bruh. They're not finna do a story every time a nigga, file for a LLC, bruh.
They started businesses out of their homes. They started making hats, shirts, and things like that. That did reduce.
Hats and shirts are the solutions. Wasn't this the same nigga was talking about, oh, we need to stop putting niggas on a t-shirt?
The violence that was inside of the home from domestically and nonprofits. It's a lot of nonprofit community-based organizations that,
like yours, nonprofits. How come all the damn black nonprofits be for profit? How come all the black owned nonprofits, the black owned 501c3s, how come all of them are for profit?
just really started because they seen that it was a lapse in resources and food disparities in that community, and they started their own community-based organizations to reduce the violence, because we know that if you're not eating, if you don't have the things that
Yo, regular Degler says, let's report our brothers in the hood paying their own bills. It's like that. Like, this is what they want you to report on regular shit. Hey, we found a black man who actually owns a car. Hey, we found a black man who got approved for a loan. Hey, we found, like, bruh, what are you trying to do with the media? Seriously, tell us.
It just really challenged you to be the better person that you become. And like Ms. Darcy was saying on the follow-up stories, Mr. Denise was saying, like, even with our organization,
oh shit,
we have not the benefit, but we continue to work with Tanera Boram's family, who was murdered on August 1st. And one of the things that we do is every year we do a memorial and we do a follow-up, but there is really no media follow-up to those type of stories.
Bruh, yes, there are, especially if they go unsolved. The media always follows up. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Family is still working. This family has some trauma and still doing counseling, but they also have a welcome another addition into their family. And that mother is really trying to not get over, but try to her journey to become more smoother. And just to close on that, tomorrow we will be having our community welcome garden on the corner of the 1500 block of South Edding Street, where Miss Tanera was murdered at while getting her hair braided. So that will kick off our...
I guarantee there won't be more than 100 black people at that event.
Earth Day, which we do every April with community organizations. She was a 3-year-old who was murdered getting her hair braided at 9:00 at night. So,
okay. As I mentioned in the chat, the next question is from Sammy Teola, who is WHYY's new gun violence solutions reporter. And she wants to know, as journalists, how do we reach gun violence survivors in trauma-informed ways? And what can we do to make them feel safe to speak with us? And I'm going to direct this towards Denise, and then whoever else wants to jump in.
Thank you. It's funny you asked that, because I recently had to do that, where I was talking to people who had lost someone to gun violence. And I think that probably the best way to do it is to recognize that you're going into a situation where you may have someone who may not want to talk to you, and try not to force the issue. One of the things that used to drive me crazy when I would see it is someone on television sticking the mic in the face of a woman who has just lost her entire family in a house fire and say, how do you feel?
Bro, and they have an option to give the interview or not. A lot of these times, the only time the family's voice will be heard is if they give an interview on the news, because it spreads awareness. And then they also plug their GoFundMe's at the end of the news channels. And look at fucking Jessica talking about some, oh my God, do they really do that? Yes, they do. Okay, it's called good journalism.
How do you think this person feels? You know, this person has just pretty much lost her whole family in a fire.
And then a lot of these sisters get on the damn TV and they willingly give an interview. And guess what they say at the end? well, you know, my baby, he was so good, but we forgive the shooters. We forgive the shooters wherever you out there, Super Gremlin in. Turn yourself in, baby. We forgive you. We want to love on you. We want to hug you. We want to jack your dick. We want to stroke it. Like, bruh. Like, niggas is tired of that shit, bruh. We're tired of that shit. But a lot of times, the only way that these people are able to get their voice out is if they do the news channel. Like, if she got on the news and was like, because there have been some like real authentic reactions, for real. But then there's some that I'm just like, what? If you don't believe me, just watch my channel.
They're not, what they're not feeling like is having a discussion with you. So probably the best thing to do is to come in there and be as sensitive as possible and explain that, look, I understand you may not want to talk to me about this. And whatever you do, do not mention the story when you're talking to them. I mean, sure, you have to let them know why you're there, but don't mention your deadline. Don't mention the story that you're trying to do or anything. Just listen. Because the longer you sit and listen to them, the more they are willing to allow you to put them on the record, to let you tell their story, because they know that this is not just, you know, another piece for you. And that is how you have to, that's kind of how you have to work with people.
And I'm switching to a little bit more of the community end of things.
Sorry, can I just say one thing related to that?
Yeah, of course.
So I think like Denise was saying, you know, with that example, timing really matters, right? So the time to interact with someone who's just been injured is, and the time maybe when it's news, which is with these kind of reports of the episode, is very different, right? So I think journalists need to rethink what stories they're telling. You know, if we want to hear, for me, as someone who takes care of the victims of fire violence and has long lasting relationships with folks who've been shot.
What do these victims look like, Jessica? Can you please enlighten us? The majority of your GSW patients, what do they look like?
There's a huge part of the story that's about recovery from this trauma and incredible resilience and surviving something that's been life-threatening and coming out on the other side of that, right? And you can't tell that story when you're putting the microphone, you know, right in front of them, right when it's just happened. So, you know, follow-up stories are really important.
Which they do. There's plenty of follow-up stories.
You know, being trauma-informed yourself. You know, journalists can get training from the DART Center, for example. We have resources, you know, available at the Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting on being trauma-informed, and also acknowledging that, you know, doing this work yourself may be causing trauma to yourself. That's something that I have to acknowledge, you know, as a trauma surgeon who's witnessing gun violence every day. So I just wanted to add that kind of little piece about timing as well.
Switching to a bit more of a community-oriented focus, Jill, one of our audience members, asked, what is the best way for readers, community members to advocate for better gun violence reporting?
Hey, we got Mozzie back.
What's the best way to indicate to newsrooms outside of maybe like not consuming their content that there needs to be a change? And I'll direct this towards anybody who wants to answer.
I want to add, and I think taking this on to full perspective, I've noticed in this conversation there's been a lot around the word positive news stories and negative news stories and reporting. And one thing that I look at, you know, is that I've noticed that journalists will try to say, you know, positive and negative is subjective. And that's always been the scapegoat around this conversation, often about positive stories and negative stories. And so when I remember hearing those references in previous conversations over the years, the response of journalists will always be, oh, well, you know, you can't say this is a negative story or a positive story because media and news is subjective. So what I pushed back on.
What the fuck is this nigga talking about, bruh?
is a conversation about accuracy. And when you make it about accuracy, you combine all of the nuances, um, all of the complications, all of the issues. And so what I will tell people is when you look at a neighborhood where you're only been covering gun violence or just covering area with gun violence, I will always tell people, is this an accurate depiction of this area?
Yes.
Because based on the coverage, it is to be presumed that only
It's not a presumption, nigga. This shit is happening.
gun violence is happening in this area. And so when I push people on actual accuracy and how coverage shapes what it looks like and perceived to be, the conversation is less about positive or negative. It's about just accuracy, to be quite honest. Calling things for what they are, saying
Who's supposed to be calling things for what they are? You? Y'all ain't called the super gremlin out once.
that this is an accurate depiction of my block. This is an accurate depiction of North Philly. This is an accurate depiction of West Philadelphia. And when you go after the accuracy, that is the kryptonite to journalists. Because journalists' entire purpose is to provide factual, credible information. And sometimes we think that simply stating facts is all we have to do. It's not. It's not. It's about how you curate those facts. It's about what facts you cherry pick. If you only want to give certain facts, not the other facts, then you can still mislead people. And that's what I think happens with crime reporting in Philadelphia, is that people cherry pick what stories and what communities they want to tell and how they magnify them. So, there is lots of petty crime that happens in Rittenhouse Square on a regular basis. And no one highlights it and makes it act like it's the most shocking thing ever, because there's tons of, restaurants and other openings and parks and recs.
And who's doing them petty crimes?
And when we look at areas in North Philly, we look at areas in Southwest Philadelphia, that's not the case. And so I always push back and tell them, are you assuming that the only areas that are having restaurants and businesses and community gatherings is only happening in Rittenhouse?
Like, this nigga is talking about petty crimes, but Philadelphia had over 600 murders last year. You talking about petty crimes? We talking about murders, carjackings. We ain't having the same conversation, bruh.
Because that's all it looks like is happening here based on our coverage. And so then people shift. And I think when we talk about shifting the narrative, it's really a conversation that's about getting us more accurate on what's actually happening in our communities. For every gun violence crisis, I know that there's tons of families that mobilize, like Mothers in Charge and Young Chances and other groups that are also mobilizing and thinking of new ways and new solutions. It's about balance. And I just really wanted to make sure that was put on the table when we talk about this.
Going back to Jill's initial question, because she's a news consumer, she's a reader, how can community members and audiences specifically signal to outlets that, like, this is not working, we don't like this needs to change? How do, I guess, communities and readers vote for something better with their voices?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, you can answer that.
I think that, first of all, consumers don't realize the power they have over what it is that we as media people do. They don't understand just how much power they actually have. And how you utilize that power is by making a demand. Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has, it never will. And nowhere is that more accurate than when it comes to news consumption. If you tell the people that are trying to get you to buy their newspaper, to watch their newscast, to listen to what they have to say, that that you want more balance, that you want not just what happened, but what happened next. If you demand those kinds of things.
Dude, what are they talking about? At this point, I'm lost. I just want to hear Mozzie say some shit.
you will get them, because everybody knows that they're competing for sets of eyes and they're competing for ears. And if they're not getting those eyes and ears, then they're not gonna make money. And let's be honest here, a lot of news coverage is as much commercially based as it is anything else. So if you tell the editors and the publishers and the news directors that this is what you want, not what the focus group says you want, but this is what you as the community say you want, you're going to get it. And also, if you are a community group and you hear about a focus group that a news organization is doing to find out how they can fine-tune their coverage, be a part of it. Be a part of that focus group, because part of the reason why coverage is the way it is in a lot of newsrooms is because they're not hearing from you, and
They're trying to say the coverage is racist, but the fact of the matter is, like, I do this shit. I got a couple stories on some glider gremlins. Don't get me wrong, but damn, it's fucking hard.
Hearing from you, because when they do these focus groups, you're not necessarily a part of them. Be a part of one. Let's make sure that your community is getting its 2 cents in, because that's the only way they're going to hear it.
Okay, yeah, jump in.
I would say even with that, getting involved, I would say being at the table, a lot of the resources and information is not tangible to the people that's on the ground. You have to search. There's a lot of stuff is online, and a lot of things that community groups that don't have access to this information takes away from their day-to-day operations. I know Miss Dorothy talked about building that relationship with reporters over the years that she's been doing the work, and that's a strong way that we have at our organization, building that relationship so they understand not only the core mission of our organization, but what we're trying to do inside of our community. We focus on poverty, which is
This nigga is talking about his damn organization again. Support my program.
Is an effect with has gun violence up. So when you explain not only your organizational mission to address the media, like this is what we're doing. However, how can we be involved more and supporting the news reporters also? Because even though they're telling our story, if we're more honest and more transparent with them, they may be able to really put it out there. A lot of reporters that we work with have the same mission and have the background personally, and they understand the details of how to share our voices too.
Right. While we're on the vein of action, this might be one of the best ones to close on. Is for people.
How the fuck did Beatrice went from not saying shit for 40 minutes to closing out the panel? There is no organization in this damn panel. Terrence ain't said shit since the beginning.
People who are interested in sharing their stories as survivors and co-survivors of gun violence and living in these communities, how would they get involved with credible messenger programs or opportunities that prioritize lived experience and storytelling? Like, where do you find these things? Is, I guess, what the audience member is asking. Denise, you want to jump in?
Oh, sure, I'll jump in. Well, the Philadelphia Center for Better Gun Violence Reporting has a credible messenger program that you can be a part of. You pitch them a story.
God damn, she did not. How many fucking programs do they have? And y'all asking for more programs? Every motherfucker on this panel got a damn program. Every motherfucker on this panel got their own program. My nigga in the corner got an app from the 1970s. I ain't even know they was making apps back then. Shout out to Mozzie. Like, bruh, we got enough programs. Tyreek just plugged a program. Now Denise want to plug another program on top of another program. Like, damn.
Messenger program that you can be a part of. You pitch them a story, they connect you with a reporter, you go out, you do the story. That's one of the places that I can that I know for a fact has one here locally in the city. But I'm sure there are other places, and what I can do is look around. And okay, because someone just said that they're working with a program called Cure Violence, and they even have their contact information here that will.
God damn, did she just mention another program? How many programs do we have in the community about curing the violence? Mozzie got one called Philly Truce. We got this panel right here. Everybody on here got we got Mothers in Arms program. We got all these damn programs, and can't none of y'all stop the damn super gremlins on Demon Time.
Allow you to do that. But, you know, even if you can't find a program like that, one thing that social media and digital, the digital age has done is democratized reporting in a lot of ways. You don't necessarily have to be a part of a newsroom or a program or anything else to get your story out.
Let's play a drinking game, guys. If you're watching the playback, let's play a drinking game. Every time they say program, take a shot.
You can do it yourself. You can have
How drunk would you get if every time they said program, you took a shot or mentioned their program or plugged their program?
Blog. You can do like a video blog. You can do Facebook Lives. You can do any number of things to get your story out. So even if you can't connect with an organization, you have tools right in your own hands that you can use to get your story out. And you should do
that. Y'all are killing me, man.
Does Dr. Dorothy and Tyreek, do you want to jump into any programs you recommend that, the people you work with go to if they want to share their stories?
I think, again, it's relationships. If you're doing good things, if you're doing things in the community, then call the different media outlets and let them know. Again, it's
so now we got to find them. Now we got to find like, bruh, y'all doing the most. First, y'all said they got to come to us and spend a day in the hood. They got to spend a day with Pookie and Ray Ray, and that's how they going to get all their good stories of niggas reading and going to the library and playing basketball and playing horse and shit like that. Now we got to go to them to get the story out. Damn, which one is it?
It's about relationships, but we've got to inform them, because if they're not in the community, they may not know. So it's really, it's upon us to make our information available so that they know. Not always will they respond in a way, but don't give up. Keep trying. Keep getting your information out there if you're doing a special event or if you have a special story that you need to be shared. Even your information, get it to the different media outlets and ask them to share that information with the community. There should be more PSAs. There should be more community media outlets that are just advertising. Again, I said that earlier, just letting people know about the different things that are going on.
Mods, we got the bots in the chat. I need y'all on y'all game. We got the bots in the chat.
At the end of that report that they're doing on that particular subject, give a way that someone watching can reference that and get connected that way.
Yeah, and just to close out the discussion, thank you so much for all the incredible resources you've been sharing in the chat. I will be writing a recap of this conversation for Billy Penn that should be up by the end of the day, and I will be sure to kind of curate all of those for you guys when you want to look back.
God damn, how did Beatrice become the leader of the panel? I thought Terrence was leading it. This nigga ain't said a word since he did the intro. And he's the one with the damn film.
And remember what we talked about. Thank you so much for being such active participants and asking such great questions. Even I as a moderator, I learned a lot. So thank you guys so much for putting yourselves out there.
So thank you all, everyone who participated in this really great discussion around shifting the narrative. There's been so much conversation today that is going to have a lasting impression on all of us, especially those in media. I definitely agree with Beatrice. I definitely learned a lot. And I think one of the major takeaways, to summarize some of the big things that I've learned, is that, we just have to keep those relationships, not only when there are stories, but just knowing that as Philadelphians, as residents, that we need to keep an ongoing relationship and know what we're doing, not only in times of grief, but in times of celebration, to really
What is this nigga talking about, bruh?
have nuance and perspectives, to really think about ways to minimize harm so that we can continue to build community trust, to utilize resources that, women, mothers in charge have brought up, or Young Chances, or, phillytruths.com, all of these different resources in our community, focusing in on being super local. And really, as journalists and community members, breaking away from the stereotypes that has continued to make these conversations.
There's no way you can break away from the stereotypes. Niggas are walking into the stereotypes like it's a fucking track meet. They running straight, sprinting into the stereotypes. They're like, oh, there go the stereotype right here. Let me go run after it. Like, what are you gonna do, bruh? These niggas is lining up with the stereotypes. They sprinting toward the stereotypes.
More difficult as well. Thank you so much to Terrence. Thank you so much to the Philadelphia, Group for Gun Violence, to Denise, to Jessica, to Tyreek, to Janet, to everyone who's been a part of this entire event today, our sponsors and our groups, the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, everyone. So thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy your Friday. That's not an April Fool's joke. Enjoy your Friday, and see you all very soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Dear God. That was tough to stomach, y'all. But we got through it. An hour and 22 minutes of the community speaking about shifting the narrative on gun violence reporting in Philadelphia. Now, I guarantee that Philadelphia, if this is the leadership, Philadelphia is going to have way more murders than they had in 2021. Okay. They're having, if this is the leadership, this is what we got to work with. It's going to get real bad. So anyways, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Black Gen Z Mindset, aka Jenquavius Jackson. I appreciate you guys for tuning into the live. Make sure you guys go and like, comment, share, subscribe. If you are watching from any of my other channels, make sure you go and subscribe to Black Gen Z Mindset, where we get real about what is going on in the community. I appreciate everybody who hit that super trap. Okay, so everybody who hit that super trap, you get.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Y'all already know, man. Everybody who hit that super trap is definitely outside. So y'all already know what it is, man. Check the channel out. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Continue the discussion in the comment section below. And we're going to go and let Jenquavius take us away.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 7.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.